Welcome in to Check the Mic. Steve Palazzolo, Sam Monson. We're live
Every time.
on YouTube.
Every time we do this, I forget it's that camera, not the main one.
It's all right. I might not even be on. I can't tell.
No, you're on. It works. This is what I'm saying. It shows up on a monitor, but not on the YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, we got to fix the monitor here. We're coming at you from the Antonio Cromartie studio, in part with Huggies. All brought to you by FanDuel. Playing through injury over here, Sam.
Yeah, I don't need this anymore.
No, don't. So we got a monster show here today. We're going to do a 2-round mock draft. Got to get the groundwork for what we're doing.
This is the most geriatric show in the history of the world. We're both just two old people with back trouble.
Oh my gosh, the back. I'll get this out of here.
Thankfully, yours is worse than mine, but still.
Well, let's just get this out of the way really quick. I threw my back out the other day. My baseball comeback is going the way of Frank Ragnow.
Oh, that's right.
You're only like hamstring.
A couple of days into your into the baseball comeback.
I've had one practice.
Yeah, and now you're wrecked.
I had I was pulling a chair up from the basement.
Yeah.
And hit my head coming up the stairs. Jerked my back. Just locked up, completely wrecked.
It's always annoying when doing something dumb causes a secondary injury. Like, it's bad enough being hurt by the first stupid thing you did, but when that has a knock-on secondary injury effect, that's always annoying.
So yeah, that was it was really bad. Like, at every range of motion and everything hurts. So if you hear me grunting and moving slowly and everything, and we're 3 days into this here, it's better than it was, but we're still working through it.
I decided to just ignore injuries from now on. I've gotten, the back thing was annoying me. I did a sequence of muscles in my back, one after another. And now I've just decided, you know what? How bad could it be? Let's just keep going. How much worse could you possibly make it, is my current theory. Now, I suspect the answer to that will be a lot worse, and I'll, change my mind on that. But for the moment, I'm just you know what? I'm just going to keep doing things through the injury. Teach it to heal. It's we're not going to get rest here. I'm not going to sit down for, 3 weeks. You're just going to have to deal with it.
Will, you're going to have to, I think that window's got to move.
Oh, now it's shut. Yeah, now it's showed up.
We got to move that window. It's covering up.
There we go.
There it is. Now I can see myself. No, I can't. I still can't see myself on the monitor.
We don't need you on the thing.
I need to be able to see myself on the monitor here.
I don't think you do. The important part is
because I'm going to be moving a lot here today. So just as inspiration before we start, I was listening to former Olympic wrestling champion, gold medalist Kurt Angle recently in an interview. Did you know he won the 96 gold medal with a broken neck?
Yeah, I did, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty famous story, but
well,
I just heard it again.
Right? He kept going. He's like, you know what? I'm injured. I'm not injured. Let's win a gold medal anyway. Yeah. So that's my approach. I'm like, the back hurts. Who cares? Let's do some pull-ups.
I'm just saying, Kurt Angle, an inspiration to humanity. If he can win a gold medal with a broken neck, we could get through a 2-round mock with some lower back issues.
I mean, this is fine. My point is just I feel like I can also keep working out and stuff through a.
You could work through it too. Yeah, you can do it all.
Through a wrecked back.
You could do it all. Don't give up. I'm just trying to sit up straight for 2+ hours.
Oh yeah, you may have bigger problems. Anyway, we need to start cracking on.
All right, let's go. So we're going to do a 2-round mock. Here's the idea. We've spent a lot of time on the first round.
Yeah.
We've spent a lot of time on the first round. We're going to go back and forth. We're going to fly through the first round, emphasize the second round.
Correct.
Okay? So we have, from a content perspective, fly through the first, and then in the second round, we'll say, hey, here's who we drafted in the first. Let's see what this team's going to do. Extended thought exercises. Here today.
Yeah.
All right, we ready to go?
Yeah.
I'll go first?
Okay.
Sure. Let me go first.
Who are the Raiders picking?
I'll take Fernando Mendoza. Raiders on the clock. I'll take Fernando Mendoza. We're going to go little discussion here in the first round. We need a first round that's set so that we could build upon it with round 2. You're on the clock here with the Jets at number 2.
Yeah. The best place to hear any discussion we had on Fernando Mendoza in particular is our show we did with Greg Cosell, where we actually got fairly in-depth with him.
It's a great point. As we get into draft season here, we'll direct you to some other shows for more in-depth discussion so we don't repeat ourselves all the time.
Yeah, endlessly. So the Jets, it's the same conversation as always, which top-tier defensive player do they love the best? Will they go? I think it's a coin flip at the moment between David Bailey and Arvell Reese, and I think I'm talking myself more and more into the fool's gold potential of what Arvell Reese could be, but isn't yet. So I'm going Arvell Reese.
By the way, okay, Arvell Reese number 2. By the way, I think we might be the only one of the few shows or people that are viewing him that way. But that's
in terms of a hybrid.
No. You mentioned fool's gold. It's that there's some some people say he's got all the traits, and we say, if he's projectable, therefore there's some. I look at it as risk.
Yeah, I mean, fool's gold's a little harsh. It's just that you are doing a lot of projection, asking him to become this superstar player. Like again, one of the big differences between him and somebody like Micah Parsons or Abdul Carter is that we really haven't seen him do it yet. We've seen the other ones do it, right? Micah Parsons, okay, you had to go back to high school or whatever, and then immediately he showed it in the NFL, and then Abdul Carter actually showed it his final season at Penn State. Like, we had seen those guys do this. With Arvo Reese, there's a lot more projection involved, I think.
All right. Arizona Cardinals on the clock here at 3. Torn by the defensive players. I'm going to go back to our old faithful, Francis Maui-Noa, though.
Old faithful.
Old faithful. Starting right tackle. Get your starting tackles early and often here if you're the Arizona Cardinals. Give me Maui-Noa.
Done.
To play right tackle for the Arizona Cardinals. Titans now up on the clock.
Titans. I'm going D-line. I'm not doing the Jeremiah Love thing, so I'm going to take David Bailey. I feel like he would be a good fit for Robert Saleh's defense.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I don't know when I'm going to do the Jeremiah Love thing because this is a tough one, Sam. Like I get the Love thing for certain teams. I don't know if I love the situation the Giants have at running back. I'm going to go with pick 5. What if I go Mansour Delane?
What if?
Where'd their cornerback situation end up? This is not speeding it up here. Giants at 5. We haven't had this as a selection yet.
No, indeed.
If Delane's the top corner, I won't go there, though. I'll tell you what, I'm still tempted by Bain here. No, I know what I'm doing. I'm going Carnell Tate here at 5 for the Giants.
All right.
That's what I've wanted for a few of those teams there. So I'm going to go Tate, steal him from the Browns with the Giants here.
Nice. Yes, so the Browns end up on the clock at number 6 with their tackle and wide receiver need, which is usually where they end up. This would not be phenomenal, I think, from their point of view. Both Maui-Noa and Carnell Tate gone at this point, assuming they are offensive lineman and wide receiver 1 for most people. A lot of people have them going Monroe Freeling. I'm going to go Spencer Fano instead.
Okay, yeah.
I really like Spencer Fano.
You really like him?
Yeah. I don't care about his arm length.
Right. I don't think it's just under 33 with the most recent measurement, and I don't think it's.
He's now an eighth of an inch shorter than Rashawn Slater.
And Will Campbell, because Will Campbell's technically a 33.
Sure, but Will Campbell, that's not helping my case.
I understand, yeah.
Slater does, so I'm focusing on that one.
He's just another Rashawn Slater. Okay, so Fano.
You're telling me an eighth of an inch is why he can't be good when Slater is.
All right, Washington Commanders at 7. I'm going, ooh, man. Oh, this is tempting. So my heart is saying Reuben Bain.
Mm-hmm.
My heart is saying Reuben Bain. I think given the Mansour Delane 4.38, confirming his speed, how much we both loved him on film, I'm going to go Delane here and fill the cornerback need here for Washington, needing to upgrade at corner. Give me Delane from LSU for Washington, but I am very tempted by Reuben Bain there at 7.
Okay.
For the Washington Commanders.
Saints on the clock. I think this is where I'm not passing up on Reuben Bain.
Okay.
Yeah. Reuben Bain.
And none of us are going.
Lineman.
Where are we?
Well, you see, this is the thing, right? This the world of, the signal from the Saints and the Chiefs with their running back moves and free agency says that Jeremiah Love's not making it to 7 or to 8. Well, if he does, they're probably not taking him now. So now you get into a weird world of where could he slide if the top 5 teams decide actually no.
How wild would it be for the Bengals to take him?
Not wild at all, I don't think. I mean, obviously they have a desperate and acute need everywhere on defense, but this is the world where if he actually makes it this far, he becomes really interesting for all these teams.
All right, so the Chiefs are on the clock at 9. For Kansas City, that's still a little better. A little bit more. Keep going. Chiefs on the clock at 9. I'm going to go Caleb Downs here for the Chiefs. Have we done that yet? We've at least discussed it.
I don't remember how. It's all becoming one now. It's a blur.
He's still really good.
Things have been done. He is. I feel like we're reaching the point in the, like, this happens every time. It's March the 30th, right? We're reaching the point in the process where we're overthinking certain people. Now, obviously, Ruben Bain, the overthinking was always going to happen because of the short arms thing. That's not even overthinking. It's just like, hey, this is kind of historical outlier, so we at least need to think about it. With Caleb Downs, we're reaching the part in the process where it's like, he was always going to get he's a safety, so how far down the draft should he fall? Now we're getting actually, is he even the best safety in the draft? Like, I mean, come on now. Like, he's been the best safety in the draft basically since the day he walked onto campus. And now we're like, oh, well, maybe it's time to start thinking about somebody else.
So I'm doing it. Downs to the Chiefs. Spags loves having his good safeties. So he's getting them at 9.
I honestly think there is an argument for the Bengals taking Jeremiah Love here. Well, like, who needs a defense? What if we just give Joe Burrow all of the things that he wants on offense? And, the fact that he has to win by 45-42 is incidental.
Yeah, Chase Brown's in the last year of his deal? Or he's got 2 years?
It's not a particularly good backfield, even regardless of, like...
Chase Brown's good.
He's all right, but he's not keeping you from drafting Jeremiah Love.
Your defense is, though.
Yeah, but is it? I mean, sure, we got other picks. We can come back and, sign some defenders.
Get crazy.
Yeah, let's do it.
This was an early mock pick. I think maybe Renner did it, like in the fall or something, way back. The first ever mock we did with Renner. This is getting wild. We've never done this. We're just trying to go through quick. We're just trying to fly through here. It's
like if Jeremiah Love makes it past Washington, how far could he end up? Like, because all of a sudden these teams have to start thinking about something they probably never considered before. I mean, not never, but like hadn't realistically considered.
Yeah. All right. Love at 10 to the Bengals. Puts the Dolphins on the clock. This is me. Miami. So I already took, everybody's been giving them the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I took, where am I going to go? I think we're going to look at the second wave of receivers if we're the Dolphins. What if we went? No, I don't love Venga. Or maybe we go first wave of receivers. What about Mekhi Lemon fitting here for Miami?
It's not an uncommon pick, right?
Is this too high for you?
For me, I'm torn because Mekhi Lemon would have to hit a pretty high end of his range of outcomes, I think, to justify the 11th overall pick. On the other hand, he's very unlikely, I think, to make it look like a terrible pick. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like his floor is very high, but in order for him to really justify like 11 overall, he's got to be very, very good.
Oh gosh. I'm trying to move. This is going to be the worst show of all time. Sitting up is a chore.
We're going to have to get like lumbar supports or something for these chairs.
I don't even know what is best. I don't know the best spot or angle for my back here. Give me Mekhi Lemon.
Doing it.
Because we're mixing it up.
Where is he? There.
Dolphins at 11. You've got the Cowboys at 12.
Got the Cowboys. Sonny Styles is starting to slip at this point at 12. Where else could Dallas go? Corner, Jamond McCoy is on the board with Mansour Delane already gone. Other linebackers, other defensive linemen. Yeah, I'm going to do the Sonny Styles thing. I think that's too
really
good a value.
Sonny Styles right now?
Yep.
To the Cowboys. I like it.
I think it's good value at this spot.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Just for those of you just tuning in, got to keep the energy up here. I'm doing my best. We've got old men with bad backs mock drafting here. But we're going to fly through this first round with little discussion. And then I do need a boo-boo breakdown per the chat here.
Vic just reached out to us. Maybe we can, get him involved.
Are you guys? Do you think he could fix my back?
I mean, I'm sure he could.
Better than my chiropractor.
Vic's going to the draft this year. Apparently, he's very excited by it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just a big fan going to the draft.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. Not that far down the road here in Pittsburgh. Hold on. You took Sonny Styles. Rams are up on the clock at 13. Where are the Rams going to go? Is this where the drop-off is? No, this is it. I'm going Omar Cooper Jr. to the Rams at 13.
Omar Cooper.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the Rams pick at 13 for me.
Done.
You're up with the Ravens. We're just flying through with a little discussion. We'll emphasize more on the second round.
Yeah. Ravens up. Ooh, the Ravens taking Kenyon Sadiq would be interesting. Is that a thing that's happened a lot?
I don't know.
Mekhi Lemon, their kind of analysis, their most common picks are all over the place. Mekhi Lemon, Keldrick Falk, Peter Woods, Kay Banks, Venga Ioane, Cassius Howell. Where's that coming from? Wide receiver, edge rusher, defensive interior is the most common for them.
There we go.
Sadiq is pretty interesting, though.
We start with if Jordan Tyson's fallen because of the injury concerns and Ioane's still there, but like, are we starting to get? Is this where we're starting to feel a little less confident in some players?
With some, depends what you need. Like if you want, there are a couple of positions where I think you'd be happy enough at this kind of range. But yeah, I think there's a little bit of a soft spot in the middle of the first round somewhere, where if you don't hit the right players at your position, you're not loving life. But the Ravens lost 2 tight ends. Another one is kind of getting on in years. Kenyon Sadiq, I think, would be an interesting add to this offense. Now, admittedly, it's a new offense, new world over there. But I kind of like this. Kenyon Sadiq, done.
All right, Sadiq to the Ravens. Puts the Bucs on the clock at pick 15. I think I'm going to go with the Akeem Mesidor pick here at 15.
Mesidor.
Get the pass rusher that you need. Am I missing something? No, that's what you need. Get the old man. Akeem Mesidor, Miami edge rusher, going to the Bucs here at 15. You're on the clock with the Jets at 16.
I like Mesidor's tape a lot. I think he's very good.
I know you do.
Okay, the Jets took Arvell Reese with the second overall pick, so they're back up here at number 16. Where could they go? Jordan Tyson would be pretty interesting at this spot, given what they already have in Garrett Wilson, like a second receiver there. Where else could they go? Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson. So he's a Jet at 16. And if you do have the injury concerns, it's one of your 2 first-round picks. Are you willing to swing for the fences there?
I mean, you have to, at this stage, have some injury concerns. The question is just how bad are they for you? Like, because there's 2 parts of it. There's number 1, his injury history has just quite a lot of things on it. And then there's number 2, the fact that he's currently still working his way back from this grade 2 hamstring injury that he had during the season. That's just a long time to be dealing with a hamstring injury, which themselves tend to repeat on players.
All right, I'm going to do something crazy here with the Lions at 17. I'm going to try this out. Lions at 17. They need a tackle. I got no inside info on this or anything, but tackle's available. Monroe Freeling from Georgia. You've got Caden Proctor from Alabama, Blake Miller from Clemson. What if we went Max Ihanicher?
Ooh, based off roughing up
Vrabel. Yeah, he handled Vrabel. Vrabel's got no bend, by the way. And
he's like older than you, is he? Surely he's older than us, please.
Oh yeah. He was in the NFL when we were in college.
But still,
I mean, we're close.
We're old. I wouldn't be shocked if Vrabel was younger than us.
If I got a GM job,
yeah, he's 50. We're good. We're fine.
If I got a GM job and showed up at a pro day, what do you think I could just step in and do some hand fighting with an offensive tackle?
No, you would last 1 rep of that and you would throw your bank out.
I know, but do you think
Oh, you think you'd be allowed?
Yeah,
yeah.
Who can go do that? Belichick's been in there coaching dudes up.
I always wonder.
Ian Cunningham, new GM, Ian Cunningham, former offensive lineman in college, can he come and just mix it up too?
Vrabel's part of that makes sense to me. It's it's Mike Vrabel. This is what he does.
Yeah.
If
Mike McDaniel went,
but it's I wonder about forget. But Mike McDaniel standing on the sideline, does he look at that and was what is he doing? Or is he no? It's Vrabel. That's cool. That's what he does.
Yeah, it's cool.
Those are the people I wonder about.
He's a top 3. If you're a top 3 cage match head coach, right? Campbell, Mike Vrabel, Robert Saleh, you can go mix it up.
It's just implied. Yeah, Dan Campbell and Vrabel are just allowed to get away with that because who's going to ask them to stop?
So I'm just for fun here. I'm going to say the Lions. Every Lions first round pick has been I'd say unique the last couple of years. Tyreek Williams last year, the Jahmyr Gibbs year. They get their guys. And I don't have any inside info. I don't have any specific reason to connect them to
whatever. They show a complete and total disinterest in position value the way other people
or maybe
so
even board value in the whole thing. So let's go with Honicher as their tackle at 17. Just to say, hey, on draft night, you get somebody at 17 you weren't expecting, like a Jack Campbell at 18.
Sure.
So that's what we're going to do. They're getting their tackle, but it's not the guys that you were thinking.
One of the most common picks in the entire draft is the Vikings taking Dylan Thieneman. You just do that. It does make sense.
I guess. I mean, we could also just have him fall and go somewhere else.
What else would they consider at this spot? Ioane is there they need a center more than they need any kind of guard. Jermon McCoy is there. That would be interesting.
What if they liked McNeil Warren better than
They might.
Thieneman?
He might be the best safety of the draft, according to some people. Who else would they take?
What if they went corner?
They could take corner.
Jermon McCoy being there. Today, I believe, tomorrow's his pro day.
Casey Concepcion would be interesting with the Jordan Addison. I mean, allow them to get away from Jordan Addison rather than giving him a contract that they might not be able to give him.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Let's do that.
Casey Concepcion?
Yep.
All right.
And maybe Justin Jefferson can teach him how to catch.
It's a big thought exercise. So you let Thieneman fall to me.
I did.
With the Panthers.
Yes.
Because that's interesting. Again, the Panthers are in a decent spot. Not that it's not like a whole bunch of superstars, but there's not a lot of glaring short-term needs.
That would be a really interesting spot for somebody like Freeling. Like a guy
I agree.
Maybe developmental. You've got your stopgap. You also can then sort of move on from Ike Ekwonu rather than insert him back into the lineup. Freeling gets a chance to slow roll his development.
Eric makes him get a tackle. You're right.
Eric makes him.
Monroe Freeling to the Panthers here at 19.
Doctor pounds the table.
No safeties. No safeties allowed.
So we're doing Freeling?
Yeah, I took Freeling.
Nice.
To the Panthers at 19. Again, we are just flying through this thing, and then we're going to focus on the second round here today. We'll recap the first round when we get to the second round and rehash what teams did.
Well, we do anytime a team comes up that's already had a pick. We're going to tell you, obviously, who they picked already. So the Dallas Cowboys selected Sonny Styles, linebacker from Ohio State, at pick number 12. They're up again at pick number 20. Thieneman would be interesting for them. As would Jermon McCoy. Corner, I think, is still a pretty big need. In fact, McCoy, I don't think you can probably look beyond him. We're
just going corner, linebacker, corner.
He's an option for them at 12. If they took Sonny Styles instead because of value and McCoy was still on the board at 20, I can't really see them passing that up.
You going McCoy here?
Yep, done.
Jermon McCoy to the Dallas Cowboys. And again, we'll rehash as we get into the second round here and get into more discussion. Pittsburgh Steelers at 21. I've really liked the Venga Ioane fit here for the Steelers. I wonder if I'll mix it up, though.
You don't like Ioane that much.
I don't love him in the first round. But I don't love him in a similar way that I didn't love Tyler Booker, but Booker worked out okay, and I get it.
I don't see those two as that similar. I like Ioane.
No, he's good. I don't think he's a fit everywhere scheme-wise. I think he's extremely strong, and I think he wins with just pure brute force strength more than technique.
Sure.
And that's the part that scares me a touch.
Yeah. He has more blocks than anybody else, maybe that I've ever seen, that end with him 15 yards away from the point of attack. Like just taking a guy and moving them and moving them and moving them. Like the Michael Oher blindside block into the stands. Like he's got more of those on his tape than anybody else, certainly in this draft, maybe for a long time.
I might save him for you and your Chargers to save your MVP.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
I think I'll do that. And I'll say, how's Thieneman look for the Steelers?
Ooh.
As a first-round safety. I haven't seen that match yet.
No.
I'm sure it's out there. There's a lot of people. I think they just need some youth and athleticism in the secondary.
Sure.
So give me Thieneman to the Steelers, and you can go get Ioane for the
running it in,
Chargers.
Press the button, already done. Ioane to the Chargers is a slam dunk. They need a guard, at least one, probably two.
All right, Eagles at pick 23 here. Got to stick with my priors that they're going to be going D-line somewhere here. I'm still high enough on TJ Parker. I don't think I've tried this one yet, the Eagles.
TJ Parker to the Eagles?
Tempted by Cassius Howell, to be honest.
Dude, I love Howell.
Yeah. I'm really tempted by Cassius Howell, but I'll
His
go.
arms are ridiculous, though. Like, whatever about Ruben Bain. Cassius Howell's literally got the shortest arms they've ever measured. How is that possible?
Bump it up a couple.
Somebody was like
eighths of an inch.
Somebody.
Oops, I accidentally clicked TJ Parker, so we're going Parker here.
Somebody tweeted the other day and like comped him. He's like, arm length doesn't matter. Forget about it. He's Nick Bonito, right? Nick Bonito also had short arms, and that was basically the tweet. Some guy was like, you can't compare like 32 or like 31 and 7/8 to Cassius Howell. Like we're like an inch and a half. We're not even in the same ballpark. Like how
you have to make the mental adjustment though, knowing we did we even get did we get a pro day
for Howell?
Yeah,
not yet. I don't think.
I mean,
again, well, I would have assumed
had their pro day already. The only ones left are Buffalo, Tennessee, and Indiana.
Can't do that. I'm on the wrong window. I need that window.
A&M was the 25th.
Okay, so we must have had. Well, if we didn't hear about it, then presumably they didn't.
He's not as big of a deal as Bain when it comes to that.
Well, only because he's supposed to go lower, but actually his arms are even more of an outlier. So. Oh, that's right. He didn't get remeasured either, because I remember questioning that.
That what?
He didn't, I don't think, got remeasured either.
Why?
I don't understand.
Why did they not get a second opinion on the arm length thing?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I took TJ Parker for the Eagles at 23. You're on the clock at 24 for the Browns.
Given the way the arm length measurements are at the Combine, I would assume that pretty much everybody's arm lengths would go up, so I don't understand why you wouldn't get remeasured.
Agreed.
It's just a matter of course. Unless you're like, it's worse. Like right now, you can just sort of lie and say, the Combine guy's an idiot. My arms are 32 inches long. Whereas if you actually get remeasured and they only go up a quarter of an inch, that doesn't help you.
Yeah, maybe that's
the argument. I don't understand it, though. So, okay, TJ Parker.
I took Parker to the Eagles at 23. You've got the Browns.
So the Browns are on the clock. The Browns went with Spencer Fano, the Utah offensive tackle / fallback option with 3 other spots interior at number 6. Brings them up at 24. Still with an acute wide receiver need, although a lot of wide receivers have gone off the board already. Denzel Boston is still there. Chris, he's the only other guy that you're really seeing wide receiver first round arguments for, I think.
Who's that?
Denzel Boston for the Browns.
Boston's good. It's fine.
Yeah, he's all right. Don't love that. I'm not taking Denzel Boston there. Where else would they go?
Browns up on the clock here at 24. As a reminder.
Yes. They already took one offensive lineman. I don't love a lot of what they did in the offensive line over free agency. They could maybe double dip an offensive line the first round. I haven't seen that. Problem is I don't like Caden Proctor either.
Yeah, but they might. This isn't just you.
That's more me than them, though. It's my mock.
It's your mock. Really thinking this one out here.
I really am. I don't love this spot for the Browns. Maybe they'll go, okay, they're going to go Keldrick Falk at 24.
The Browns?
Yeah, they are.
No offensive player that you like there?
No, not at 24. We're going to come back later. Don't worry, we've got a second round to work through.
Keldrick Falk to the...
Because they're not trading Myles Garrett right now, adamantly,
Browns.
but they're going to trade him at some point because that's why they reworked his contract.
All right, for the Bears, tempted by Emmanuel McNeil-Warren here. First round safety. A couple of the defensive tackles that have gone a few different times to the Bears. Give me EMW, though.
EMW.
Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, safety. Going to the Bears at 25. You're on the clock here at 26 for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, man, now they have the Denzel Boston conversation.
Do it.
I think it's actually a good fit for Buffalo. I know the Bills fans are going to have PTSD from Keon Coleman.
It's not Keon Coleman.
No, I know, but some of the criticisms ring similarly, and that's going to freak them out. But I actually think he's a good fit there.
Let's do it. Freak him out. Freak him out. Let's do it.
Even though they traded for DJ Moore, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Niners at pick 27 here. Now, I'm going to go Cassius Howell here.
Ooh.
For the Niners. Because my excuse with Howell is, what if you have him on the line with, like, Michael? Could you have two opposite edge rushers between
right.
Cassius Howell and Michael Williams?
Yeah.
between the way
Long,
they
not
play.
particularly productive pass rusher versus historical stumpy arm guy who just gets to the quarterback all the time.
Plus Nick Bosa and Keon White's there in the whole. Just add Cassius. Cassius Howell benefits from being a part of the deep mix of different style defensive linemen. Mm-hmm. So you could pick your spots with them. So I'll go Cassius Howell here. Some juice off the edge.
Texans on the clock. I feel like any of the three defensive tackles there in a row are value for them. Caden McDonald, different players. Caden McDonald, Caleb Banks, and Peter Woods. So it's kind of like which one.
The Caleb Banks home run swing is fascinating to me. He's got the injury. He's got a lot of red flags.
Yes.
But the home run swing on Houston's D-line.
I mean, his high-end plays are off the charts ridiculous. And if you could just harness that and get, the high-end version of him, not even all the time, most of the time, like his upside, his ceiling is insane. But obviously there's downside to it. Let's go with the home run. Let's go with the swing.
Caleb Banks?
Yeah, swing for the fences.
Caleb Banks to the Houston Texans at 28 puts me back on the clock with the Chiefs at 29. It is really smooth except the Dolphins, actually. Now they screwed it up. All the teams with 2 picks are either both even or both odd until the Dolphins grab pick 30.
Chiefs got Caleb Downs with pick number 9 overall. Back on the clock.
I'm tempted by Avion Terrell.
Yeah.
A lot.
Replaces a lot of what they lost with Trent McDuffie.
I know, and then I'm like, do I really want both my picks to be in the secondary? It's because I'm also tempted by Clemson teammate Blake Miller at tackle as the future right tackle for Kansas City to replace Jalen Moore. For this one, let's go Terrell because I think that's the value play. Now, is that going to look weird for the Chiefs?
I already clicked the button because you said it, so it's done.
Going safety and corner.
Yep. Miami picked Mekhi Lemon at pick number 11, and now they're back on the clock at number 30 with the pick they got from the Denver Broncos. Where would Miami go? They still have a cornerback need. The next guys up on the board would be Colton Hood from Tennessee, Brandon Cisse from South Carolina, D'Angelo Bonds from Indiana, Chris Johnson from San Diego State, Keith Abney from Arizona State. Or would they come back in the second round for a corner? If they didn't go corner, they could still attack the interior of that offensive line. Pregnon would be interesting at this spot.
Yeah.
Or Caden Proctor as an offensive guard.
Scheme-wise, they're not, it's not like pure. Like McDaniel would be more like the undersized, definitely wouldn't want a monster like Proctor. I don't think it matters as much.
But I don't think, I think Proctor's, I don't think he's scheme-specific as a guard. I think he might be as a tackle. It's not even scheme-specific. I just don't know that he has the...
You just don't trust him at tackle?
Yeah. I think he actually has the athleticism and the footwork and the movement skills to play guard in any scheme.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's just massive. I just don't know that he does at tackle. All right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take Caden Proctor and play him at guard.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Glad you took him.
Just so you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm always torn on Proctor. He's going to the Dolphins at 30. I got the Patriots at 31.
So you know the way it was like Ioane has more plays where he's driving a guy 15 yards away from the ball than anybody else. Proctor has more plays where the play ends with him facing the football than I can remember from an offensive lineman for a while.
Yeah.
And that's never a good thing.
Never.
Whether or not your guy has made the play, you don't want the offensive lineman to be facing the ball by the end of the play. It's not what you want.
Not ideal.
And he does that quite a lot.
Okay, pick 31, New England Patriots. We're wrapping up the first round, and then we'll get into round 2. It's a whole different draft order. It's a whole new world for us to explore. For the Patriots, I like Blake Miller, man. Blake Miller, the future, your right tackle of the future for New England, eventually replacing the great Morgan Moses.
Uh-huh.
I think this would be, how is it phrased to us, a mature pick for New England.
I like that
because
because just before you said that, Walt specifically said, "Don't take Blake Miller to the Patriots." So.
Oh, good. I'm not keeping up with the chat right now because we're moving so quickly.
Yeah.
Sorry, Walt, but
Blake Miller done. Unlucky, Walt.
Seahawks at 32.
Seahawks on the clock. Another team that could go a variety of different ways. I feel like it feels like a team that would add reinforcements to the defense somewhere. I also think that at this stage, defense is value for them. Which defensive lineman would they take? Caden McDonald, Ohio State, Peter Woods, Clemson, or one of the edge rushers. Yeah, I'm going to go with Peter Woods.
Oh, man. He would have been an early second-round target for me.
Yeah, so the Jets now are on the clock with the first pick of the second round. They've taken Arvell Reese at number 2 overall, and then Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State, at 16 overall, and they're now back on the clock at 33.
All right, we'll get to second round in a second, but first, we're in the middle of the tournament. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Here's how it works. You place a tournament bet using the token. If it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. That's 10 chances to play all tourney long, from game props to money lines to spreads, totals, futures, and more. You can even mix things up with same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to fill out your bracket, FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the action day after day. So visit FanDuel.com/33rd to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com/33rd to get in on the action. 21 plus in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org, Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Or call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. All right, now we're on to round 2.
Yep.
We'll just stick with alternating, right? We're not going to figure out who made previous picks.
No, just Europe.
Okay.
So the first question becomes pick number 33. The Jets didn't do it with either of the first 2 picks. Are they interested in Ty Simpson at the top of the second round?
I got Arvell Reese. I have Jordan Tyson. I'm going to let him slide.
Okay.
I'll think about Simpson at 44. For now, I want to continue to add to this roster. Where do I want to go? Oh, man. There's some certain players who I just want on my team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably just get them when they're available. So if I'm the Jets...
You would draft fully like old school Bill Belichick. It's like, I don't care if no one else is going to take this guy for the next 2 rounds. I want him now.
No, it's not in the next
Give
2
me D'Angelo
rounds.
Ponce. I want him. Don't even try to deny it.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking Jacob Rodriguez here, though, for the Jets.
I still haven't heard a particularly solid argument for why he's not a first-round player.
I don't know either. Like, they've got Demario Davis, Jamie Sherwood, Francisco Maui-Noa, last year's draft pick. That won't keep me from getting Rodriguez. Just another core building block for this defense. Give me Jacob Rodriguez.
Done.
To the Jets at 33. Arizona Cardinals on the clock at 34.
So they got Francis Maui-Noa at pick number 3. They come up again now at the top of the second round. It feels like they're going defense, right?
If you want a fun drinking game, every time I reset my positioning and grimace,
you think that's a fun drinking game?
Maybe for the listeners.
9:41 a.m.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I feel like defense makes sense for them, and to be honest, at any level. So pick your favorite defensive player, whether it's linebacker, defensive line with Caden McDonald on the inside, edge rusher, Zion Young, R. Mason Thomas. Malachi Lawrence is getting a lot of buzz lately as a player that potentially belongs in this fringe first-round conversation.
Explosive, bendy athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, I was tempted for Arizona. I was at 3. I was tempted by the Baines and Baileys of the world, of course. I went Maui-Noa, but any of those pass rushers, I think were.
I'm gonna go with Zion Young from Missouri.
All right, Zion Young going to Arizona here at pick 34. Puts me up on the clock for the Titans.
There's a fun tape out there somewhere. There's a few people on YouTube, or not YouTube, Twitter, that are like cutting up, the one-on-one games between like prospects, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they don't edge rusher versus offensive tackle, because of the way the game works, like they don't actually go one-on-one particularly often. So you can cut them down. It's like 8 plays or whatever in a game. So somebody cut up the Zion Young versus Caden Proctor tape, I think it was. And it's funny because, in this world of like, the tape never lies, except when 2 people watch the same thing and come away with the exact opposite take. So like half the people are like, man, Proctor did pretty well, won that overall. And the other half like, man, Zion Young whooped his ass.
What did you see in it?
I thought that Zion Young won more of those reps than Proctor did.
So my problem with those, again, coming from our background where it's, we were looking at every player and every play. My problem with all of that is not understanding baselines.
Right.
And so a tackle one-on-one with an edge rusher should win about 75% of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less, like pure one-on-ones. Maybe it's only 60%, like somewhere between 60 and 75.
Yeah, I should rephrase. I think that,
and
Zion
I know
Young,
you're not saying more
right.
as in like
no,
in
that,
pure
but
number, but you're saying
it sounded that way. So
yeah.
I mean that I thought Zion Young won that tape reel more than Proctor did, as opposed to won more reps in it than Proctor did.
And I didn't watch that matchup specifically, but if they had 8 one-on-one matchups and Zion whooped them twice, that's Zion winning. And even though it's 2 out of 8, and Proctor wins 6 out of 8, so that's my problem when those things are put out there, is people don't know what the baseline is before they comment.
I'm pretty sure that was the matchup, was Young versus Proctor. Yeah, it was.
Sounds right. Okay. Somebody left because you drafted Peter Woods.
Somebody left?
It just says, Peter Woods, many question marks, goodbye.
Okay.
We have a whole second round here.
Right. We could fix it with the second round.
Titans here, I'm going to go.
So the Titans in the first round went with David Bailey, 4 overall.
You took David Bailey. Mm-hmm. I like that. That's a good. I keep going back to. I think that's a really nice, solid defense pick, and I don't know if he's there, but I think they'd love that.
Yeah.
With Bailey at 4. I'm looking at Pregnon, the guard from Oregon here for the Titans. They have not brought Kevin Zeitler back as of yet.
Mm-hmm. Play opposite Skoronski.
Yeah, so Zeitler's still out there, and that's always the potential. But they got a spot. Cordell Volson is currently the right guard. So I'll give me Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon.
Nice.
Here for the Titans as a plug-and-play guard at pick.
Yeah, he's got some really good tape. I think he could be a first-round player.
Yeah, I don't like him more than Ioane necessarily. I was just different style players, and Pregnon's size and his athleticism really pops after watching Ioane and his brute strength. They do it differently, but I'd be happy with him in the second.
Yep.
You're up with the Raiders here at 36.
Raiders at 36. Obviously, they selected Fernando Mendoza, their quarterback, at number 1 overall. They have a desperate need of defense, but do you need to just surround Mendoza with as much as you can? What would that be if you were doing that? Offensive playmakers of any description. Chris Bell, the wide receiver from Louisville. Jeremy Bernard from Alabama. I kind of love him, by the way.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
So he's a fascinating example. Maybe we'll get to him when we do his individual profile. But this is where draft position becomes really important, because I think there's a lot of similarities between him and Emeka Egbuka. I hate taking a guy like that at in the top half of the first round.
It's going to be value here.
But if you're telling me he's available in the second round, I'm like, that guy makes every single wide receiver core in the NFL better.
Yeah.
So I want him. That's kind of where I am with him. So I kind of love. Yeah, screw it. I'm taking Bernard here.
Really?
Yeah, love him.
That's your guy for Mendoza. All right, so let me click Bernard. He's 49th on this PFF somewhat consensus board.
The somewhat consensus.
I think it's a consensus for them.
It's close enough.
The actual consensus board that I work off of here, he is 55th.
Oh.
So you reached. A little reach here. I don't know.
He's going to be good. He's going to be good, I promise.
Giants up on the clock at 37.
Let's find out. Does Walt hate it? Because if he does, then it's a good pick.
It's a fair question. Walt, where are you on Jeremy? Walt may be down for a nap.
Sam flunked. See, Walt thinks it sucks, so it's great.
Flunked. You haven't done anything that he likes in years.
I know.
So, let's see. Giants here at 37. I went with Carnell Tate first time around. Now that I see Pregnon off the board, that would be really nice. They're sitting here with Evan Neal maybe competing for the right guard spot right now. kicking him inside.
Yeah. By the way,
I don't hate Neal as a reclamation project. I know he's been a Giant.
I mean, they've already kind of given it a shot. It's like he's probably not, it's probably not going to work.
But this will be the shot at guard. Yeah, go ahead.
You said this before, like the signal in when college teams go out of their way to get guys all the touches they can.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bernard was getting like he was being deployed as if he was like the 5-star freaky
Zachariah Branch
recruit, right? Like the guy, the best recruit to come along in 10 years or whatever. Like he was getting all of those plays for Alabama, both in terms of alignment, deployment, backfield carries. Like they were lining him up as if he was the unique once-in-a-generation freak show, despite having 5-star recruits all over the place, and he was the guy getting those plays.
Interesting. I corrected that, too. I was on JJ's show talking about Zachariah Branch because he wanted to ask about Zachariah Branch. I said I usually think there's signal there, but not when you build the entire repertoire out of behind the line of scrimmage plays. So...
well, there's signal to that as well. It's just a different signal, potentially.
Well, yeah. It's like if you can't run any routes and you're just like, that's how Ted Ginn was at Ohio State. That was the example I used.
I mean, yeah,
Ted Ginn was almost obnoxiously all design touches.
Right.
And then it never really translated to the NFL.
That's the thing. There's signal to it, but it might also mean something else. Like the thing is, in college, you can do that. You can't do that in the NFL. Yeah. That's the problem. Like that's the Treylon Burks issue, right? Like Treylon Burks was lined up literally everywhere within that offense. They were putting him at quarterback, tight end, receiver, slot, backfield, everywhere. And it's like they were just trying to get the ball in his hands because he was the best athlete in the field at the college level. You just can't do that in the NFL. And if you can't play one of those positions to a decent level, we don't have a way of getting you the ball reliably. And that's what those players deal with.
All right, so I get the Giants at 37.
Yes.
I'm looking at...
So they picked Carnell Tate at 5 overall.
Took Carnell Tate. I'm tempted by cornerback Colton Hood. So you got Paulson Adebo there, free agent from last year. Greg Newsome comes in on a 1-year deal. I don't know if there's anything there keeping me from drafting a corner. Mm-hmm. The other guy I'm tempted by is Christian Miller, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. So they brought in Darius Alexander. Now, he was 24 years old last year, 3rd rounder. I think they really need a nice defensive tackle next to Dexter Lawrence. They have Darius Alexander, Roy Robertson Harris. Always when I say his name, it always flows into Harrison every time I say it out loud, even though I know it's Roy Robertson Harris.
When I do that with typing, when I try and type Jordan Addison, whenever I type Addison, there's a second I that pops up after the ADDISION.
Oh, you want to add a shun?
Always, every single time. Can't stop myself doing it.
It's a brain thing, right? It's not a knowledge thing. So that's who I'm debating between. For fun here, I'm going to go Christian Miller from Georgia.
Christian Miller.
Violent, quick hands. I need a 3 technique next to Dexter Lawrence. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm doing here for the Giants at 37.
Houston Texans up. We got Caleb Banks at the bottom of the first round, and now we're back up again already, 10 picks later with 38 overall.
So this is fun for the Browns, trying to see.
It's part of the Tunsil trade.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Texans, because the Browns are up next too. Like when these teams have again, we haven't gone into the second round really yet, mm-hmm. And you start to see, oh yeah, the Texans are coming back at it here at 38. The Browns are coming back at 39. They got 3 in the top 39. You start to see how they can play the board and fill it out.
What if they went? You're becoming Mr. Touchy-Feely now. What if they grab Ty Simpson's insurance policy what if C.J. Stroud just implodes?
Jeez.
Can you imagine? That would be like the Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts thing. It's like, at the time,
It's just a good value second rounder.
Sure. But
just
it would be ripped in the same way. Like the Eagles got fairly conclusively ripped when they did that, in part because how could you do that to Carson? Upset the man. And then not long after, it's like, actually, Jalen Hurts is the guy we're shipping off Carson Wentz and his bloated contract, and thank God we did that. I'm just saying, I'm not doing it now, but stranger things have happened than Houston taking Ty Simpson at this big.
You're not going to do it, though.
No, I'm not doing it. But like I said, stranger things have happened. I'm going to, I think, keep going on the offensive line for them. There's a starting 5 in there. I just don't love them necessarily. Like, you could go a few other spots, but I might grab Chase Pasantis here, Texas A&M guard.
Man, he was showing out every time I was watching A&M's offensive line.
Yeah, he's another guy that I've seen people starting recently to say, why isn't he a first-round player? Him,
40.
Pregnon, like some of the sort of second wave of
How many
offensive
guards are
linemen.
the Texans going to have?
They're going to have enough. I'm going to try and get one good one.
They got Wyatt Teller and who they just...
Right. But, are any of them good? They're all right guards for a start.
Yeah. Oh, they brought him. Yeah, they have him and Ed Irving. There's no path to the field in the next couple of years. Did you already
Of course
click it?
there's a path to the field. Wyatt Teller's on the downslide of his
I already
career.
clicked it, so...
None of those guys are necessarily that good.
Okay. All right, Browns here at pick 39. The Browns have gone with Spencer Fano, your favorite tackle in the draft, at 6. Keldrick Falk. You'll never see that pick in any other mock draft.
Keldrick
at 24.
Yeah.
For the Browns. So they added to the defense. I want to go back to the offensive side of the ball, ideally. But where are we looking?
You're you're usually Mr. Best Player Available, and now you're all about filling draft needs.
I know how I am.
You've changed.
I mean, at some point,
You've forgotten where you come from.
it's for the content.
You got Mr. Big Time, and now you're out here just being like, oh, like
Mr.
the
Big
NFL
Time.
people. They're like, oh, actually, maybe everything we already thought was right.
I am in very close.
Which left guard do you think is keeping Chase Besantis away from the field for Houston?
I mean, Teller, whoever they moved to, who do they say they're moving to the left side?
Wyatt
Teller
Teller
or Ingram?
Wyatt Teller, the guy who's already on the hard decline in his career, is going to suddenly tick up on the left side.
Good point. Good point by you. Take the best players. Browns at 39. No good receivers left.
39. We already took Spencer Fano, Keldrick Falk. We haven't had a receiver yet. We didn't love the value in round 1, or at least I didn't.
Chris Bell, baby.
Chris Bell.
It's Chris Bell time. Coming off the injury. But it doesn't matter. He's jumping right now, and he weighs 230, and he ran 29 miles an hour in pads or whatever their agent told us that was true. So I'm going Chris Bell here for the Browns. There's your big-bodied receiver for Cleveland.
Chris Bell's a fun player.
He is. Chiefs. Uh-oh. So this is bad. Sneezes.
With a back injury. Yeah.
Luckily, I could count. I think I've only sneezed 5 times since I threw my back out.
Is that what's the baseline? Is that a high?
I think it's low. I think that's low. It's allergy season and everything.
Well, I say that because you texted me when you threw your back out, and I don't think I've sneezed since that text.
Really?
Yeah. Do you sneeze a lot as a regular thing?
I think this time
Just constantly sneezing?
Yeah. 5 feels low because I'm like, oh, this is good. We're in a good spot. But I just remember all of them.
Yeah, well, you would if they're aggravating and already thrown out back. All right.
Yeah.
Kansas City. They picked Caleb Downs at 9 overall. Steele. They got Avion Terrell, the cornerback from Clemson, at 29 overall.
So you have 2 DBs here.
Yep, and Terrell's a guy that can play inside or outside. He could be your slot. He could be your outside corner opposite Noel Williams. I think that's a versatile pick for them as well. But 2 players in the secondary for them, and now they're on the clock at 40 overall. So we're probably looking, not necessarily looking off for offense. We could look defense as well. We got linebacker C.J. Allen is there, Caden McDonald on the defensive line, run-stuffing defensive tackle from Ohio State. We've got offensive line options still. More defensive line, Lee Hunter from Texas Tech. R. Mason Thomas, the edge rusher from Oklahoma. I might get Malachi Lawrence here.
Really?
Yeah. Twitchy, explosive edge rusher from UCF.
Wow. So he's rising. For those who have not heard of Lawrence, Renner was the first guy I heard really highlight Lawrence.
Yeah.
With his explosiveness and length and everything that he brings to the table. I mean, he's starting to get that hype. And this would be, I don't want to say a departure from what Kansas City has done, but it adds something that they don't really have, which is that just really good athlete off the edge right now.
Yeah.
With Karl Loftus more of your power rusher. So Lawrence at 40 here to the Chiefs.
Done.
Puts the Bengals up on the clock at 41. I am tempted by.
So the Bengals got Jeremiah Love with
the
overall pick.
We went. This is, I know Bengals fans probably haven't seen that often.
But this is why. So look at what's available. I think this is why that's an acceptable thing to do, because all of a sudden you look in the second round at 41 overall, and almost all the value is on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. So there's a lot of defensive players. There's a lot of corner options here. I like R. Mason Thomas here.
Right.
From Oklahoma, sawed off pass rusher. Sawed off. Just get full Mayock. sawed-off pass rusher. Our Mason Thomas, there's your pass rusher for the Bengals. The other part you could go, I mean, Caden McDonald's still here if you want. Lee Hunter if you want to go defensive tackle.
We already clicked the button, though, so we won't be.
I'm going our Mason. But there are a lot of options there. Now this is why when you play this thing out where the value is in the second round.
But that's why I think when you actually get to the second round, like when you're doing the first round, you're at the 10th overall pick. You're like, man, we can't possibly pass up defense to take Jeremiah Love. That would be crazy. And then once you do it, and you actually get to the second round, you're like, look, we've got we've got depth at linebacker, defensive tackle, safety, or cornerback and safety. Like, this is not a bad place to be if you're still looking for defensive help.
All right, who's up now? Saints at 42.
Yep, it was me again, right?
You had the Saints at 8, and you took Reuben Bain Jr.
Reuben Bain Jr. at 8, and now they're on the clock again at 42.
Ooh, I'll tell you what. If they had Reuben Bain and Caden McDonald in this draft, that'd be something.
That would be something.
That would be something.
That would be adding some reinforcements to that defense, all right. I think they're also in need of corners as well. This would be an interesting spot for I'm going to call them the second wave of corners, starting with Colton Hood, Brandon Cisse, D'Angelo Pons, Chris Johnson, Keith Abney, even as far as Keontae Scott, who's more of a slot corner.
Is that where you're going to go?
I think I'm going to go corner, yeah. It's just a case of which one. I might take Pons. 42, just a baller.
Oh,
just give me the
what
ballers.
A deal.
Just give me the ballers. I'm going to take Bain and Pons and win the draft.
Yeah, that would be draft winning. So you're going D'Angelo Pons here?
Yep, done.
And Reuben Bain to the Saints? I'm just saying, if a team got both of those guys, they'd be my
favorite team.
They'd be my draft winner. All right, quick break to talk about our friends over at Root Insurance. Root Insurance believes that good drivers deserve better rates, so they've created a new kind of car insurance that rewards good drivers in an easy-to-use app. Traditional car insurance companies focus on demographics like age, zip code, occupation, and credit score to price your coverage. But when Root offers a rate, your behavior behind the wheel gets more weight than any other single factor. They don't use occupation or education level to negatively affect your rate. While you drive, Root gathers and analyzes data from your smartphone sensors, and after a few weeks, you'll get a car insurance quote based primarily on your driving. Save up to 44% off your initial Root quote after you take the test drive. Need a tow truck, jump start, or lock your keys in the car? Root will cover the help you need to get back on the road when you opt into roadside assistance. The Root app makes it easy to edit your coverage, update your policy, or file a claim in just 3 minutes. You can get started today at Root.com. All right, I'm up on the clock at 43. Miami Dolphins.
I've only checked back into the chat a couple of times, but every time I do, Walt's like blowing
Flunked.
a gasket.
Oh, yeah.
Dude's going to have some sort of stroke or something.
He's big mad at you, which is okay. Dolphins, first time around. Where did I go?
Makai Lemon, number 11.
Lemon at 11.
Caden Proctor to play guard at pick number 30.
So it's funny because a lot of people have cited the Dolphins and their Packers ties, John Eric Sullivan, as, look, the Packers have...
Another reason they would go Proctor. Take a tackle, move him into guard. That's what they do, Packers.
Oh, that's a good point. Wait, he's not on the board. Why'd you bring up Proctor?
Because we drafted him.
Oh, I forgot the Dolphins had 2 picks.
Yes.
And you said, I'm sorry. Because I had the first one. So Lemon, Proctor. Mm-hmm. So now I'm sitting here. Okay, so I'm thinking about the receiver thing, right? Because a lot of people are expecting them to double. I'm expecting them to like double and triple up at receiver because of the need. That's a Packers-like thing,
on
right?
the basis that they have none.
They have none. You take 2 or 3. So I took Lemon the first time around. And it's interesting because I don't know, like the next receiver.
It's not a great area for receivers.
Yeah, on this board, this is usually where it's good. Like in past years, you say, well, that second-round receiver group, but it's not as good. You have Zachariah Branch, you have Chris Brazzell, Malachi Fields, but a lot of those guys might be better in the third. Depends on what you feel about Ted Hurst getting a lot of hype. Our friend Greg Cosell bringing up Ted Hurst.
Hurst is fun.
But I like that I got Lemon in the first, and now we know that corner's been a huge need for Miami. And look, they have needs everywhere.
I will say also, so Chris Brazzell is going to get a pretty decent amount of hype, probably from this point on. On the one hand, you've got he's coming out of that Tennessee offense, which is just so frustrating, right? You go back and look at the history of receivers that offense has sent to the NFL. It's awful. Like, it's terrible. because they don't play football. It's an abstraction. It's like taking a guy from a different sport and projecting him into playing wide receiver. However, for Chris Brazzell in particular, now this is where it gets interesting with this NIL world and the portal and stuff. You can go back and watch him play at Tulane before he ever got to Tennessee.
And the offense is it was tweaked a little.
Still pretty bad. But you can go back and watch him run real routes in a real offense and actually see that he can do it. Like, this is not a guy who's never done that before and has come out of this Tennessee offense and he runs 3 routes and mails it in, the plays that are coming to him, like blah, 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 all the things you hate. One of the reasons that's concerning is because you're taking a guy who may never have played wide receiver at any kind of high level and now hoping that the traits translate to that. With Brazzell, though, you're looking at a guy who did do it, and there's tape on it, and it's not that long ago, like 2023 or whatever it is. You can see tape of him operating from a real offense, running real routes, and doing it pretty well. So I will say there's a difference between him and some of the other guys that offense has sent to the NFL.
He's big, fast, smooth mover. The two biggest...
Who can run routes.
Yeah, and the biggest negatives here, the off-field rumblings that we've heard. The offense,
seem to, by the way, be
a little bit
quieter. They don't seem to get mentioned as much. I'm not seeing that in as many scouting reports as I expected to.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, we could poke around a little bit more, source it a little bit better, maybe than we have, more often than we have.
I'm just saying, it's I generally speaking, if you told me, another one of these Tennessee wide receivers, I'm like, I've been burned too many times, I'm out.
But you went back to Tulane, and
I watched the Tulane tape, and I'm like, okay. I get it. I can see him run routes. He can move. He can actually do things. You're going to see one play from this year against Georgia a lot. Anyone that's pulling out tape, they're going to find this one route he pulled against Georgia, which was like an out route where he sort of fakes inside.
Like the Julio thing?
Yeah, and almost. It's not. Yeah. It wasn't a blaze out, but it was like he basically
the same effect.
Completely suckered the corner, flew, send him on by, got 5 yards of separation, made a nice sideline catch. But one of the problems is you're going to see it literally from everybody. It's a great play, but you're going to see it from everybody because it's one of a handful of plays where he ran a real route, right? And that's the thing. If everybody can find the one time you did this on your tape, that's a problem. Ideally, you want everyone to be using, a different play where he did this, but he doesn't have those because it's that offense.
I saw Matt Waldman talking about that because there was a highlight reel of Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ohio State going around, and it was like, how did this not translate? And Waldman's point was like, well, that's why you don't use highlight reels. I think highlight reels are interesting to see. Highlight reels are at least interesting to see, but not be fully influenced by.
I don't have a problem with a highlight. Well, I do. I mean, it's not like you don't. That's not how you operate your scouting. My point
not how
is
we
less,
were raised, Sam.
I don't care as much about a highlight reel. My point is more if everybody is pulling out the same one play. It's not that that's a problem, but the fact that everyone is finding the exact same individual play and using that to make an argument about something.
Right.
If a guy really had that specific trait, people would be finding different plays, right? Like if you went to find. If you went looking for an argument that DeAndre Hopkins is good at the catch point, right? There'd be 15 plays out there that people would have come to and say, oh, look, this is the one that proves it, right? It's obvious. There's so many to choose from. Not everyone's going to gravitate to the same individual play. When everyone's gravitating to one play, the chances are that doesn't really reflect what the guy's good at.
That was not to pick on Dano, he's had a rough week, but when he pulled out they tell me Anthony Richardson's not accurate. Look at this throw. You found it.
Again, Anthony Richardson has one of the greatest plays, one of the greatest throws of any quarterback in the NFL in the last 5 years. But it's one. Everyone knows what one we're talking about here. It's that one play. That doesn't mean that's his baseline.
Yeah. Baselines and base rates are the problem in all of this. That stuff matters. Okay. A lot of discussion when I was always going to go Colton Hood here for the Dolphins at pick 43. Puts the Jets up on the clock at 44. This is their 4th pick here. This is your shot.
That's why I've still got wide receiver ticked. I was like, where's Colton Hood go?
So you have the opportunity here to do the Ty Simpson.
I do. Yeah, so we got Arvell Reese at 2. We got Jordan Tyson, wide receiver at 16. We got Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker at 33. And then for the 4th time of asking, Ty Simpson is on the board for the New York Jets at 44, and we have to ask, do we want to roll the dice on it? I think it's worth doing at 44 with your fourth pick. Like, the problem is I don't think Ty Simpson should start year one. The problem is he's not going to get year two for the Jets because they're probably going to be bad and draft somebody else, and with their 3 first-round picks next year, who are probably all better than this class.
By the way, the Jets are. I thought they'd be competitive this year, but they've added a lot of talent this year. They're not going to be a pushover.
No, but
year.
well,
I mean, it depends on what you get from Geno Smith.
Yes, if he plays
like
the way
Geno
he did
Smith last year was awful,
right.
But you get this report card on Chip Kelly and how bad he was.
Right.
You've got the Suns the offensive line coach, coach's son, coaching the O-line.
They're going to have 3 first-round picks, though, so theoretically they can go get a quarterback. Even if they can't get to 1, they can get pretty much as high in this draft as people are willing to take a deal from.
And I'm usually on keep taking shots on a quarterback type of guy, but it's real tempting to just continue to add as much talent as possible and figure out the QB thing next year.
Yeah, but what if Simpson's the guy? Like, what if he's good? Then you can use your 3 first-round picks next year, and suddenly you're laughing. Like, it's like, when the Texans maybe that's unraveling now, but when the Texans hit on C.J. Stroud, it's like that transformed the team. When Washington hit on Jaden Daniels, it transformed the team. Like, what if you then, instead of – because they then got a bit aggressive and started sort of making moves with trades. What if they had 3 first-round picks the following year? Like, now you're talking, we can really move this thing. So I don't think this is the best thing for Ty Simpson because I think he would have to play year one just to have – they're going to have to find out what they have in him year one. But I think with Geno, they can slow roll it for at least half the season, throw him out for the second half. It's the best you're going to get. If you don't work out, sorry, son, but we're going to move in a different direction. Maybe we'll trade you for the goodwill. But I'm doing it. Taking Ty Simpson.
All right. Ty Simpson to the Jets here. This is what we said our plan was. Anyway.
What's that?
Get Simpson with the second rounder. Take that shot.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the argument is probably strong that you wouldn't take him. Certainly not with the first 2. Maybe not with the third pick. With the 4th? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's like when the Jets took Breece Hall with their 4th pick that year, right? And certain people at certain companies that we worked for were still slamming the draft pick as a total waste of draft capital, and you don't take a running back there, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, look, it was their 4th pick. Like, they already drafted 3 other positions of higher value. It's their 4th pick. It's in the second round. What the hell? Like, at some point, it's fine. I feel like this is fine.
Yeah, I gave the 2 examples. I'll just repeat it again. The Jets. Sorry, I was being distracted by some other news here too. You in that text chain?
I haven't looked at text.
The Jets had 2 first rounders in 2013, and then spent a second rounder on Geno Smith. Thought it was a good process. Geno's potential first round quarterback, because you hear this all the time. If you don't trust a quarterback in the first round, why would you take him in the second? It's like, well, you just play the draft, and they're like, it's all probabilities, right? Like, just because you take a QB in the second doesn't mean you don't like him. It just means he has some warts. There's still a chance that he pans out.
Well, it's also because at some point it's worth the draft pick. It's like, why didn't you take Shedeur Sanders in the second round? You took him in the 5th, because at some point you reach the 5th round, you're like, what the hell? Let's just roll the dice. He might be better than we think he is.
And there have been good second round quarterbacks like Andy Dalton, Derek Carr, Geno later, Tyler Shuck last year. Like, nobody's criticizing the Saints for not taking him at when did Banks go 9? Like, you're not criticizing the Saints for not you didn't love Tyler Shuck at 9. Like, you just played the draft, got him at 40.
I do think
you're happy with him.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints, that one's a little different, I think. But I do think, generally speaking, it's not a ringing endorsement of the player. Like, it does signal that you don't think he's particularly good, and he's probably not the answer, and that's why you didn't take him higher in the draft. But, and again, to me, this is not – I don't think this is putting Simpson in the best position to succeed. Like, I think the best thing for him would be to sit his entire first year, land somewhere where he's got a shot of winning the job the following year. I think the Jets here would be not setting him up tremendously well for his best interest, but they're saying this is our 4th pick. Maybe Ty Simpson is better than we think he is. We're going to give him like an 8-game audition at the end of the season. And if he's amazing, he can win this job and let us go and spend 3 first-round picks on better, on other players, non-quarterback positions in a good draft and really set us up for success going forward. So, Yeah, like it would be an admission that they don't think he's necessarily the future, but they're willing to give him a shot for the cost of a second-round draft pick, their second one, which they would be able to claw back a chunk of if he doesn't work out and they trade him away after an 8-game thing. Someone will give them a fourth or whatever, and it's not.
I agree. I think it's good process.
There's very little downside from the Jets' point of view.
Again, the examples I always use were the Jets in 2013 taking Geno with their third selection, which was in the second round.
Right.
And then the Browns in 2017 having 3 first-rounders, Myles Garrett, David Njoku, Jabril Peppers, and they took Deshaun Kaiser with their 4th selection, which happened to be in the second round. Now, Kaiser was terrible, but he was the consensus 4th QB that year who had his warts, and obviously it didn't work out. It's not about do these things work out, but process-wise, I still think those were sharp moves, right? You didn't throw a pick away. You took a
it's
a big
calculated
swing.
gamble.
Yeah, it's a big swing.
And again, because you can, like, if you give him an 8-game audition or whatever, and you decide he's not good enough, you draft a quarterback. Like, you can probably get something back for Ty Simpson after his rookie season that year. Like, you can trade him away. Someone will give you a day 3 pick minimum. Like, you're not burning the second and getting nothing. You're burning the second, A, for the chance that Ty Simpson actually looks good, and B, you'll get something back. You'll be able to cash in and redeem some of your money.
All right, so you took Simpson. I got the Ravens on the clock.
Yep.
At pick 45. Ravens, you had Kenyon Sadiq.
Yep, 14 overall.
At 14 overall. Ravens now at 45. Where are we going to go here? Baltimore's taken a bit of a hit in their depth this year. Where do I want to go? I've got some questions on the O-line still. At guard. Jennings Dunker.
For the mullet?
Maybe as a guard. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do.
Wow.
We're going to go Dunker.
Going Iowa.
Yeah, give me Iowa.
When in doubt, draft an Iowa
At pick
offensive lineman.
45. He's 57 on this PFF board and a little bit high. Where is he? Lower? 58 on the consensus board. So pretty close. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they're working off a mostly consensus board here.
Yeah.
Give me Dunker to the Ravens at pick 45 here. Puts the Bucs on the clock at 46.
Bucs took Mesidor with their first pick.
Some Bucs fan was mad at me earlier. He wanted a line. He said the linebacker position still has a massive need, with, even with David retiring and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true.
They got Anzalone coming in, but I don't know who a good linebacker would have been at 15.
Right. Now the linebacker is available. C.J. Allen.
Allen's still there.
Georgia is there.
By the way, that feels like a drop that could happen, right? A guy that's a little tight in coverage.
Sure.
And is a good run-stopping linebacker.
Well, I think also linebacker, it's becoming one of those positions where, this is true for most positions, but I think it's specifically very true for cornerback. And I think linebacker is going this way as well, where it's, to a degree, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Like, what style of linebacker are you looking for? Like, teams that covet, somebody like Nick Bolton are not going to be the same teams that covet, rangy coverage linebackers. Like, these teams are going to be looking for completely different things.
Yeah.
And so the board is going to look completely different. Like, same with corner. If you like the long, rangy, outside press man style corners, you're not going to be into the D'Angelo Ponds of the world. And the reverse is true. So I think cornerback boards are wildly different. I think linebacker boards are going to be as well. So you've got C.J. Allen would be the top linebacker on this board and the consensus board. Jake Golday, the Cincinnati linebacker, a little bit lower down. Who else have we got? Josiah Trotter from Missouri. Tampa Bay could take C.J. Allen. Where else would they go?
They've
cornerback depth could used to be.
Servassier Dennis is the guy. He came out as a really good run stopping linebacker with coverage challenges, and those challenges showed up quite a bit last year.
Yeah, cornerback could used to be restocked as well. They've lost some corner depth in the last couple of years.
They drafted 2 last year in Morrison and Parrish.
Yeah, neither of them. Well, certainly Morrison struggled year 1. Parrish looked better, but also looked more of a slot type of performer. I don't know if they would go back to the cornerback given there's pretty good depth at this spot. mean, do we just take C.J. Allen, be done with it?
I think so.
Okay.
Get your linebacker. C.J. Allen going to the Bucs at pick 46. Colts up on the clock for the first time.
Yeah.
So we have a couple first-timers coming up here. Colts at 47. Falcons at 48. The Packers will be up at 52. So get ready. We haven't made picks yet.
Get ready.
Caden McDonald's still here. And I'm just going to go value play here for the Colts.
Just going to do it.
He's 28 on this consensus board. This stuff happens all the time. Players fall, right? It doesn't always fall exactly as you want. I'm going Caden McDonald here for the Colts, though. I think just having to he's not like a DeForest Buckner. He's closer to a Grover Stewart. But Stewart in the last year of his deal. Buckner's getting older, needing to replenish the defensive line. I like McDonald quite a bit here at 47 for the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their first pick. Puts the Falcons on the clock for their first pick here at 48.
Yeah, who could go in a variety of different directions, I think. At this point, the corner market is looking really good value. We've got Brandon Cisse from South Carolina, Chris Johnson from San Diego State, Keith Abney from Arizona State, Keontae Scott from Miami. I'm not looking too far beyond the cornerback spot at this stage. I think Chris Johnson's going to be my pick of that group.
Chris Johnson for the Falcons?
Yep.
I like it. I think
smooth moving corner.
It's good value there for the Falcons. Puts the Vikings on the clock at 49. What did we do with the Vikings? We said don't go Thieneman.
We didn't go
You
Thieneman.
went Casey Concepcion.
Casey Concepcion.
Off the board a little bit, going with Concepcion. Vikings at 49. Now I'm tempted by the cornerbacks here. I like Keith Abney from Arizona State. Here, he's 50 on the consensus board here, 49. This is pick 49 for the Vikings. Fill that corner need. I know Jadarian Price is the next running back off the board.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we did our running back breakdown the other day with J.J. Zacharyson. Great episode if you guys haven't seen it. A completely different view. Like we had J.J. talking more data-centric on Thursday. We had Greg Cosell talking pure film for the quarterbacks on Wednesday. So we had some fun discussions. But for the Vikings here, Brandon Cisse from South Carolina is a corner. Keith Abney, corner from Arizona State. I'm going to go Abney, though. And I think interesting draft here for the Vikings with Concepcion and then getting a corner in round two.
I mean, it's another one where it's a bit like the Bengals, where most people are just plugging them in for a defensive back of some kind in the first round, whether it's Thieneman, whether it's a cornerback. But if you decide there's another position, another player you like who you didn't expect to be drafting there, or you just want him, you can grab that guy. And second round, there's actually a ton of cornerback value.
Puts the Lions on the clock at 50. I threw a curveball in round one.
Yeah, what'd you do in round one?
Max.
Oh, yeah, Maxie Honicher, the Arizona State offensive tackle who was
just
mixing it up with Vrabes.
Watching him mix it up with Vrabes.
That's
like,
what got you.
Yeah. Because, Dan's like, look at Vrabes. Testing our guy.
You think Dan brought him in afterwards and then gave him his own test?
So it's funny. So for people who didn't see that, that's, again, Vrabel steps in to the pro day and starts doing some hand fighting with Honicher. And our friend Lance Zerline, whose dad was an offensive line coach, was saying, yeah, my dad used to do this often, and he would test offensive linemen, wanted to see core strength. You wanted to, get hands-on and test the offensive linemen. And I responded, I said, the data guy in me is like, well, you can't just do this with 2 or 3.
Right?
You got to do this year after year. You got to do it with the top 10 linemen every year. You can't just – because, listen, I'm telling you, the draft is all about bias and avoiding it. If Vrabel goes hands-on with one guy.
But it's also about ticking boxes, right? So maybe it's a case of they've already ruled out the other guys for different reasons. Maybe they've identified Ihanichar as someone they want, but he wants to know, does he have this, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what he wants to check. He's like, no, he does. He's got the core strength. He's got the ability to reset once I, shed his hands, blah, blah, blah. He's good. Whereas the other guys that, you would say, well, you need to go check Blake Miller. You need to go check whatever. He's been like, I've already ruled out. I've already crossed him off for 3 other reasons, right?
Or it's not a question on film. Or or core strength and hand use, whatever he's testing, isn't a question on film.
So I think there is a reason why it would be valid to be only doing it for one guy, not have it done for 5 other guys.
It's also funny to me, too. Teams are so tight-lipped when it comes to their draft preferences and what they're thinking. Are you tipping your hand? Are you playing the game? Are you either maybe you're all in on Blake Miller at the end of the first if you're the Patriots and you're like, let me get in, we'll mix it up with Max and make people think we like him. Could be some, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I doubt it's that complicated.
It's probably
suspect
not.
It's just like he's there. As long as I'm here, I'm going to go check him out.
Ultimate smokescreen season.
Going to go check the merchandise and see what we're dealing with here.
What if that was your best smokescreen? It's like everybody that I've already crossed off my list, I'll start to act like I really like him at Pro Day. I'm going to fly all the way out to Arizona to do some pass rush drills against Max.
Well, that's it would also be...
It's a big investment.
It would be funny as well if, this is all fun and games when it's like former NFL, pass rusher against future NFL offensive tackle. It would be funnier to see in practice when it's like a DB or a wide receiver, and suddenly Kyle Shanahan gets out here and just starts routing up
Mike McDonald,
Keith Abney.
I mean, Mike McDaniel does that.
Yeah.
McDaniel's got a pretty good sizzle reel.
McDaniel goes out there and just starts routing up Chris Johnson.
No, I think we need to put new rules in. I think every coach should have to mix it up in at least one drill per year. Like Andy Reid's got to get out there.
Andy Reid can't survive that. What would he do?
Andy Reid's got to go hold the point against Ioane or something.
He'd have to punt to a return man or something. You couldn't have Andy.
Oh, yeah, he's a punting expert, Andy. Yeah, he's got a punt.
Right. No.
Former punt passing.
There's got to be like an age limit to this. You've got to retire these people at some point.
Like the NFL, this is primetime stuff here. The NFL could put this
Who would the quarterbacks be going up against? Safeties? Like lob a duck up there and see.
I think the QBs should be throwing routes and seeing the receivers catch, off-target throws and stuff.
Oh, so throwing two receivers.
You're going to throw to receivers, yeah.
Okay.
I got to see, because that's how you get a feel for
like Zach Taylor goes out there and starts firing.
He's got to get a feel
balls.
for the timing. If he's ready to throw, is this guy coming out of his break on time and everything? That's
right.
Can he handle instructions? I can only tell if I'm throwing him the ball. Is he QB friendly when I'm throwing him the ball? That's the equivalent there.
Catch these terrible passes I go back to throw.
I love it.
Anyway, so the Lions are on the clock.
Todd Monken's, what's he doing? Anyway, Lions at 50. I already took Max.
Yep.
It's your pick.
Oh, it's my pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Just waiting on you.
Got it. So, again, the cornerback is still pretty good value. They've got a bit of a question mark there given the play of their corners from last year. I understand they were banged up a lot, and we're still hoping that they have a former first-round pick who doesn't turn out badly. So I don't know if you're necessarily taking a corner here. Where'd they go? You already addressed tackle. Defensive line is still an area where you would want something.
This consensus board has Caleb Lomu, Lee Hunter, Brandon Cece, Gabe Yakis, AJ Halsey.
Yeah.
As the top players. Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt.
Stowers. I don't know what you would do with him in that offense.
Just a playmaker.
They could be a sneaky Jadarian Price area. Ooh. It's not an amazing fit given Gibbs, but I do think they could use an upgrade at running back, having traded away their Thunder.
Linebacker? With Anzalone out?
Golday.
Oh, wow.
Golday. We got some defensive linemen that's a bit further down the board. Dominique Orange, Big Citrus. I want Big Citrus everywhere.
Big Citrus everywhere.
Just love the nickname.
Chat's begging for Lee Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, Lee Hunter, it's, same idea. Lee Hunter makes a lot of sense. I think that probably is the best value. Well, Caleb Lomu might be the best value, but you've already addressed tackle. So yeah. I think Lee Hunter probably is the guy.
All right.
Speaking of amazing nicknames, did you see the story of that Irish kid that just committed to South Carolina, having never played football before? Mm-hmm. How insane is that, by the way? In this world of like 5-star recruits and like college kid or high school kids rather go through like hell to try and be a 1-star recruit or whatever. This kid just rocks up. I've never played the game before, but I'm 6'8", 300 pounds, and I have 37-inch arms. And they're like, so the entire SEC is falling over themselves to throw a scholarship this guy's way.
So while we're here, South Carolina, are you taking Hunter?
I already did it, yeah.
Okay. Let's talk South Carolina for a minute.
But the reason I wanted to bring this kid's name up, Once
Irish?
Once I find out, well, that's one reason.
Is he a hero of yours?
No, I had never heard of him up until this point.
Bruce Feldman put an article out about him. And
Yeah.
then,
So his name is Neff Giwa, I'm going to say that is, or Giwa, Giwa. He was a rugby player in, I think he was Young Munster or something. But he's 6'8", basically 300 pounds, with 37-inch arms, which is like off the charts insane, and can run a 4.88 40. And basically just with that collection of measurables, got the entire SEC to throw Division I scholarships. That is, like, he was on a recruiting tour to Miami, South Carolina, Georgia, and eventually committed to South Carolina because they had a record of developing, I think, was Bernard Ryman? No, Sebastian Vollmer. Anyway, whoever the coach is there has got like a track record of a couple of these guys that he's taken from nothing, turned into players. Anyway, the reason, so Neff Giwa, I'm going to say his name is pronounced.
do you need help?
Someone nicknamed him the Rock of Cashel, which is a great nickname for an offensive tackle. The Rock of Cashel is like an actual place in Cashel where he's from. So that has to stick. That's got to be
not good.
He has to be.
Oh, okay, he has to be.
The guys talking him up, the guys that like found him, unearthed him. They're saying future first-round draft pick in the waiting. He's 37-inch arms, runs a 4.88 40, he's 300 pounds. What do you want?
South Carolina now has one of the greatest collection of freak athletes in college football history.
Yeah, that's all
and
we're
I'm not
interested in.
joking. So they have Lenora Sellers at quarterback, who we've talked about. He's 6'5", 240. Cam Newton, like a runner, speed, quicks, unbelievable. They have edge rusher Dylan Stewart, who could be a first-rounder next year. He's not as freaky as far as power and strength, but just as far as bend and burst and everything. They have Nick Harbor, an Olympic sprinter at like 220 pounds at receiver, 99 speed in the college football video game. Harbor, who's still just learning how to play football, but I'm glad he didn't come into the draft this year because he's getting a little bit better. So you have Harbor, Sellers, Stewart, and then The Rock.
The Rock of
Cashel. Unbelievable group of freaks at South Carolina when it comes to athleticism.
Just consider, again, in this world of like industrialized recruiting, just how freaky an athlete you need to be for like high-end SEC schools to just be like, we are definitely giving you a scholarship offer over the actual football players that have been really good for their high school for years. Like, forget them.
Yeah.
You can 100% have a scholarship, even though you've literally never played the game. Like, just imagine how freaky an athlete you need to be for them to say, it doesn't matter that you've never even seen this game before. You're in.
Do you think he really has 37-inch arms? Or do you think the combine guy would have him at 32.5?
Oh, the combine guy would have him at 35.5.
32.5 or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. The A&M guy's over 35 at the combine. He's got to be up at 37, realistically.
Right.
A&M tackle.
But is that in the world of, like, that's too long now?
Yeah.
You know? 37 is actually a bad thing.
I mean, that's your who's the guy I always use as the example?
LaRaven Clark.
LaRaven.
He was 36 something.
Yeah. At some point, they're too long.
Well, I think 37 is like basically like the longest.
There's no better ball of clay than the Rock of Cashel.
Rock of Cashel, literally.
Love it.
Never played.
Panthers are up on the clock at pick 51. I am really tempted by Eli Stowers here. Tight end in name, but he's just a big-bodied playmaker for Bryce Young. The doctor would approve. Second-round tight end with a first-round offensive tackle, because first time around, did they go Freeling? Monroe Freeling. That was what we talked about.
Did indeed go Freeling.
Yes, Monroe Freeling at 19. So you've got your developmental tackle, which makes a lot of sense from a roster construction standpoint. Now you get your playmaker.
Can Stowers play tight end?
So he's a move.
Renner called him a receiver way back when.
He would have to play the move tight end role. So can
he even play that?
I think he can make the H-back type of blocks. And again, when I say make, I mean move efficiently enough to get in the way. I mean, it is college tight end run blocking is very binary for me. It's either like you hold up and you have some high effort, or you're traffic cone. You kind of get in the way.
Yeah.
And so Elijah Arroyo last year went in the second round. He was traffic coney. And I would say Eli Stowers is more traffic coney. But like you work around it.
That's the thing. Like, there were people that were writing off Arroyo and his blocking ability that can't work. And Stowers,
this was some of the worst I've ever seen.
And Stowers might be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So And that was where I had to explain it because, people said like PFF grades on Arroyo weren't that bad, but that is one of those things I think you do need to adjust for. You need to adjust for roll. I mean, blocking in line is really difficult because you're facing defensive ends. Like, you're not just in the slot going to like cut off a safety. And so Arroyo, those were most of his blocks. So yeah, Stowers. Look, Travis Kelce's never been a great blocker. I know everybody's going to, Travis Kelce got away with it. There are other tight ends who get away with it. I think Stowers would have to get away with it. He tries. It's effort. He can get in position. He's just not great at it. But I think he can be a great pass catcher. So give me Stowers.
All right, done. Green Bay.
First time,
long time. Green Bay on the clock, 52 overall.
Lomu, top guy on the board.
Yeah, I mean, that would take Caleb Lomu, kick him into guard because that's what they do.
But eventually be a tackle.
Right, eventually move him back to tackle once their other guy leaves.
Yeah. I do like when like the Packers just have a style. It's not easy to predict their style like all the time, but
they're one of those teams though where
they have a style.
The kind of in-depth, hardcore. I don't want to say necessarily the beat, but like I don't want to say bloggers either. It's a bit pejorative, but like the guys that really follow the Packers have kind of reverse engineered their requirements for various positions.
Yeah.
Like athleticism, size, the traits that they look for. Like the Packers are one of those teams that does seem to stick fairly rigidly to thresholds in a bunch of different areas. And the guys that follow them have fairly well reverse engineered what it is they like and don't like, which always makes me nervous now drafting about them because you're going to be like, here's a corner they might like. And like, no, they never take that guy.
I shouldn't say, yeah, maybe they are predictable. They've done. I do love that. And by the way, if you are a fan of a team and you have one of your beat writers or some of the bloggers or whoever it is that has done a really good job of predicting, this is who the Packers always target. This is who my team always targets, which, by the way, is difficult because regimes change all the time.
Yeah.
But if you have some of that, I'd love to see it. Send it our way.
I honestly think they might just take Caleb Lomu at this point. That's good value. Cisse would be the other interesting spot, but I'm now scared about whether he fits their measurable.
No, but do it, and then you get feedback.
Yeah,
they would never draft Cisse.
The feedback's bad. It'll make me sad.
Cisse had a 2.9 GPA. They've never drafted a sub-3 GPA corner.
Along with these other four things.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Cisse. You talk me into it.
Yeah, get a good corner here for the Packers. Now
Steelers. They took Thieneman.
Now I might take Lomu. Lomu.
I just got rickrolled because you just wanted Lomu.
That's how that works. I'm on the phone. I love that Cisse kid. You don't want Lomu. That dude's too developmental. Well, you know what's funny? Because I was looking ahead. Steelers are on the clock here at pick 53.
Smoke.
It took Thieneman first time around. Some awesome athleticism and playmaking ability and youth added to the secondary for Pittsburgh. I started to scroll down looking at the next tackle on the board, and I was going to scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
And go get the next tackle. Now Caleb Lomu's out here.
It worked
out
great for you.
I'm taking him for Pittsburgh as a second-round offensive tackle, 38 on the consensus board, going at 53.
I feel like I just got punked. All right. Philadelphia's up.
You don't think I could do the GM thing?
They took T.J. Parker in the first round, pick number 23 overall.
Double up.
They're back on the clock.
Double up on the edge.
Pick number 54.
I won't tell you what to do. You do
Good.
whatever.
Yeah, no, you stop poisoning my well with your takes.
Yakis.
So this has been they've been talked about as going both trenches a lot. I don't really see an offensive lineman that I love at this spot. Scrolling. Still scrolling. Keelan Rutledge. Guard from Georgia Tech. Still scrolling. Connor Lew. Still scrolling. Yeah, don't love offensive line at this spot. They could. I doubt they double up on defensive line. Go back to the safety well, given that they've shipped theirs off a bit. I don't hate that, actually. I might go with A.J. Halsey. Done.
Oh, big hitter. Halsey. Going to the Eagles. Yeah, they do need safety help, but I'm curious to know how they address that.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers at pick 55. So I let you get Ioane the first time around to protect your MVP. Venga Ioane, the guard out of Penn State in the first round. Chargers now up on the board. I'm going to go, again, I like what they've done piecemealing this edge rush group together the last couple of years with the one-year deals for Khalil Mack. but it's still a long-term play. Tuipuloto's due to get paid, and so they need future pass rushers here for the Chargers. So I'm looking at Gabe Yakis from Illinois. Was also looking at Joshua Josephs from Tennessee, power player, like him. Give me Yakis, though. I like him quite a bit. Moves well, power player as well. Top player on the consensus board. Give me Yakis out of Illinois here to the Chargers at 55.
And then we got another first-time picker. Jacksonville, not on the board until the 56th overall pick.
Is that the last team to pick for the first time? No, Denver now.
Yeah.
At 62.
Got
Got about 10 picks left here.
Yeah. So soon. Jacksonville.
It's one of our quickest shows in years.
Yeah, we're firing through, despite all the broken banks. Maybe that's why. Just trying to get the hell out of the chair.
I'm going to get stuck. Jags at 56. So we haven't talked about them from a draft perspective.
Basically at all, yeah. Because they don't pick for so long.
So
this feels like a potential drop-off spot of the draft. Like we talked about, middle of the first round felt like a little bit of a soft spot. Middle of the second is starting to feel, middle to bottom of the second is starting to feel like a little bit of a drop area.
It's all players with some warts. Like the next couple played Golday from Cincinnati, who Renner loves. Price is the next running back off the board.
And they do need a linebacker.
Scott, who's an older nickel corner. Linebacker.
Having let Devin Lloyd hit the market.
Josiah Trotter.
So Jake Golday, Josiah Trotter, Kyle Lewis, if you think he's a linebacker, and a lot of people don't, from Pittsburgh. It's more of a sort of big nickel type of deal. Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas. Keyshawn Elliott from Arizona State. I mean, Golday would be value. Golday fills a need. Golday makes sense, right?
Yeah, they've got Foye Oluokun. Mm-hmm. They got the Barbarian. They got Ventrell Miller. The Barbarian's like, more of an edge, but like a hybrid type player.
Right.
But yeah, they could definitely use a
Golday done.
A starter. Golday would be good value there for them. All right, that puts the Bears back up on the clock at 57. Again, as we walk through this, the Bears have been tied to a lot of defensive linemen in the first round. I went safety, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. So now some defense, some second round. I'm starting to like some of the second round. I talked about defense. Second round edge rush options, defensive tackle options. So we've got Denai Dennis Sutton still out there, the dentist from Penn State. You've got Derek Moore from Michigan, Joshua Josephs from Tennessee. Some defensive tackles, Big Citrus is still out there. Grayson Halton from Oklahoma, completely different types of players. He's more of an interior penetrator. So if you're the Bears, I do think, in the first round we gave him Caden McDonald a bunch. They could use that enforcer, run-stopping type. Big Citrus is a lesser version of that. Like, he's okay.
You dare say lesser version. Big Citrus.
He is.
Coffee machine's turning off.
So you brought that? You bought that, or that was
one of my neighbors was giving it away?
Oh.
I'm like, I'll take a free coffee machine and bring it into the studio.
Why not? Are you gonna brew it every show?
Well, that's the problem. Is now I'm in this world where
you're on the hook.
Yeah.
Do we need to put a schedule up?
I gotta clean it and stuff.
Yeah. Do we have to put a schedule up for who brews the coffee?
Probably.
You take Monday, Thursday. I'll take Wednesday. You're in here before me anyway, so I think
usually, yeah. I mean, it's all right now, but yeah, there's definitely gonna come.
Like, can I go get a hot refill?
Yeah, right now. I mean, if you can haul yourself
that
over
would take
there
me 10 minutes
with your broken back
to get over there.
Also, it's down on the floor. You're gonna have to bend down.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
that's good though. We do have Mohall was wondering about this for a while. Do we have a coffee machine?
Theoretically, we officially there's now hot coffee over there on the floor next to the fridge.
All right, I'm going to go Big Citrus here for the fun. But there's a lot of people who I think are decent fits here for the Bears. I kind of like the value here for the Bears. And are they coming back? Yeah, they're coming
Citrus,
back.
Baby.
They're coming back again at 60.
In a couple picks, yeah.
They're coming back again at 60. But I'll go Big Citrus here.
49ers on the clock.
Dominique Orange.
You gave them Cassius Howell, the edge rusher from Texas A&M, with the historically stumpy T-Rex arms.
Careful.
In the first round. I love Cassius Howell. I just think, that's one of the craziest measurements of any description ever.
It is.
It makes no sense. Like, it's ridiculous how short his arms are. His arms are 2 inches shorter than mine are. And he's 6'2" or something. What the hell? That's nuts.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Anyway, you gave them in the first round. He gave them him in the first round, and now they're on the clock at pick number 58. They could still use defense at most areas. I kind of like them adding a defensive back. two of the best ones available are sort of slot players at the moment. Keontae Stott trading Stukes.
Stukes is getting a lot of hype lately.
Yeah.
Kind of can play a little slot. I think some people have him listed as a safety.
Upton Stout played pretty well, though. It's like that's the one spot I don't know.
I think Stukes might be a safety, though. He ran in the 4.3s.
Yeah.
And he's got safety-like, I don't say safety-like ball skills, but the way he closes on the ball, he makes some plays with his athleticism at the catch point.
I feel like I mean, guess you just take a Stukes and figure out where he plays later.
Is that what you're doing?
Maybe.
For the Niners?
Yeah, I think so. Done.
Traded Stukes from Arizona going to the Niners at pick 58. We've got the Texans at 59. We got 6 more picks here in round 2. Texans have gone Caleb Banks in the first round. Took a little chance here.
Mm-hmm.
The high upside of Caleb Banks. And don't forget, they came right back at pick 38. They've got Washington's second rounder. Went Chase Basantis, the guard out of Texas A&M. So double trench move here for the Houston Texans.
Mm-hmm.
I am intrigued. Keontae Scott has that ethos kind of as a nickel there. I just don't know if he fits
Petrie
on the roster.
There. Yeah.
I saw some other Texans fans suggesting, if you're really nitpicking this roster, CB3, and we've talked about that a little bit too, right? Tremon Smith was the third corner last year. As soon as Kamari Lassiter got hurt, he got picked on. So the next true corner
Igbinosun
on the board is Davison Igbinosun. So he's a fascinating player because it's like if you ignore the penalties. 16 penalties in 2024.
which is a lot.
Which is a lot. Who did we just list that had 0?
Mansour Delane didn't have any.
16 penalties.
And he's not alone. I think there's a couple of players.
But Igbinosun is good at the catch point and everything. It's just I don't know if he can keep getting away with this.
But he's not getting away with it.
But
I mean, 16 penalties suggests he's very much not getting away with it at the moment.
But back end of the second is interesting here for him.
Yep.
Maybe more tight end depth. Max Clare on the board at Ohio State. Do you want to just continue to add to the defensive line with various edge rushers? Romello Height would be a nice rotational player with some juice. Deny Dennis Sutton. Do you want just another speed, big-bodied receiver like a Bryce Lance to add to the mix? Even though like Houston has some depth here, and I really or Chris Brazzell, but they have some depth, and they can afford. Do we just go guard? Do we just go with another guard for the Texans? 1 million guards.
Don't mock my guard pick.
For Houston.
They have a left guard now.
Sorry. Man, Kyle Lewis in his workouts making the rounds from Pittsburgh as a safety slot hybrid. Like he would be like the next Jalen Petrie.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they already have the original Jalen Petrie.
No, I know. I get it. So it's a good roster. Like you're not like Houston's got these 3 picks in the top 59. And I think they can continue to just add the best players, and you're not going to feel bad about it. So
they traded for David Montgomery, so that's the running back kind of position you would say taken care of. Before that would have been an issue.
If you think center's a problem, you could go Connor Lew from Auburn. I'm going to go Igbinosun, though. I think he's got a lot of potential at corner. He's made some high-end plays. He does have really good ball skills. You got to figure out the grabbiness at the top of the route, and it got better last year. I'm just saying 2 years ago it was a disaster. And they still won the national title at Ohio State. So Bears now at pick 60.
Yep.
And some of it's your choice, but some of those edge rushers that I was looking at are still out there. I think they have a chance to double up maybe on the defensive line and make an impact. But you do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. EMW, Emmanuel Manil-Warren, the safety from Toledo in the first round, and then the second round, Big Citrus, Dominique Orange, defensive tackle from Iowa State. And then they're up again at pick number 60. I mean, edge rushers definitely, I think, an area where they still could use some help. So now we're starting to get back into the area where wide receivers looking more intriguing again. Obviously, they traded away DJ Moore. They still got a young and pretty talented wide receiver core. Would they add one more? Like the likes of Chris Brazzell and Bryce Lance are pretty intriguing at this spot. Ted Hurst as well. It's further down for some reason. Even though he might be the most intriguing of the group.
Blame all of them.
Where'd he go? Is he still here? No, there he is. Ted Hurst. Ted Hurst, where is he in the consensus board? That feels crazy low for him.
I don't know if he's just starting to get more hype. He's at 82 on the consensus.
Really?
which is a similar spot as Romello Height, Skylar Bell, Joshua Josephs, Grayson Halton.
Like, he's the one guy that's got the kind of, I mean, it's a lower level competition, which is always a scary thing, but he's got like the legit size, speed, the total package in that regard, whereas some of these other guys don't.
Right. I like those edge rushers for the Bears here, though.
Yeah. Let's go with your guy, the dentist.
The dentist, DDS. Deny Dennis Sutton.
Why is he the dentist again?
DDS. That's what that's the dentist.
It's like
abbreviation.
MD? It's
Yes.
DDS?
It's DDS.
Got it.
I learned that because of wrestling. Isaac Yankem, DDS.
The source of all of your knowledge.
That's right. That's what Kane was before he was Kane.
He was the dentist.
He was Dr. Isaac Yankem.
Got it.
The dentist. I mean, that's like where I first heard it. And then you're like, oh, DDS, yeah. That should catch on. It should catch on. All right, Rams at pick 61. I went Omar Cooper Jr. at pick 13 earlier. Rams are in an interesting spot because, again, I think they're the most equipped to play football right now with their starting roster. Don't have a ton of direct needs. What's going to be fascinating about the Rams is all the players who need to get paid in the coming years. So way down, like 2 years down the road, Jared Verse. Within a year, Kobe Turner is up. Byron Young is up. Speaking of 25-year-old edge rushers, Byron Young's coming off a great year. And then all their offensive linemen. If you want Steve Avila back, or Avila, Kevin Dotson, Warren McClendon, if you want all those guys back, they're all going to have to get paid. So where do we want to pay? Do we want to pay all of them? And so that's one of the things I don't know about the Rams is how they feel about, say, McClendon. Do they think they need the next tackle?
Well, Byron Young feels like a guy who, even though, I mean, it depends what the contract is, obviously, but Byron Young feels like someone that they could move on from because they're going to want to throw the money at Jared Verse rather than Young.
And they have Josiah Stewart coming up.
And like Young would be the most sacrificial of the group that you could get rid of and potentially replace and think you're still in a really good spot. Like, even though like, there's no reason you would want to move on from Byron Young, given he's developed really well. He's coming off a great year. He's a very good player. He's young-ish. Like, he ticks a lot of boxes of a guy you would want to bring back, and obviously having been a lower draft pick, like, he's the kind of guy that most teams would want to retain, but he would be the sort of first man out if you were like, well, which guy would you lose from this defensive line if you can't afford to keep them all?
Right. So that's what I'm looking at. And then, I look at a guy like Grayson Halton, and it's like, all right, would he be Kobe Turner insurance? But if you just know you're going to pay Kobe Turner and you still have Braden Fisk, you're probably fine there at defensive tackle. I just don't know how much they want to do that. Caleb Tiernan from Northwestern is really interesting to me. If you bring him in as your second-round tackle and give you some Warren McClendon insurance, if you don't get the right deal to McClendon, or just McClendon's only got the 1 year of good play, filling in for Havenstein. So they could go a couple different ways here. I like Tiernan, though. Let's go Caleb Tiernan from Northwestern.
Done.
There's your Rams tackle. Broncos on the clock now.
For the first time, pick number 62 for the Denver Broncos, having traded away pick number 30 in order to get Jalen Waddle in the building. So now you're like, I mean, the Denver Broncos is a team. I mean, they're in that category of, the Rams, the Texans, of they're as equipped as anybody to win a game tomorrow, just as long as their quarterback got healthy.
Yeah.
So maybe not tomorrow, but in a couple of weeks, whenever his ankles.
Broncos, Rams, and Texans.
Yeah.
I think are the best April rosters here.
Right. It really is. You're just adding depth wherever, right? Like a Joshua Josephs, the easiest place to add depth is the defensive line, so they're probably going to do that, would be my argument.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess tight end was the closest they have to an actual need, but even though.
Grayson Halton would be interesting there. Not trying to sway you.
Yeah, again, yeah. I think I'm going to go with Joshua Josephs.
Sniped.
Sniped?
Maybe I liked him for the Patriots.
Good.
Joshua Joseph's adding some just a power edge to the Broncos. That dude could play.
I mean, it's not quite a like-for-like replacement for John Franklin Myers, but it's getting you in the ballpark.
We're going to have John Ledyard on the show next week talking edge rushers. I've seen him with this take. I think he likes He really goes in depth at all positions, but really on the defensive line and edge. I think he really likes the second tier of edge rushers in this class, and it's usually hit or miss once you get to edge. You always call them the beige. Edge 8, edge 10. I think this class should be better, though, and Joseph's is a good example of that for the Broncos. Patriots at 63. I like so first-round pick. We went Blake Miller. I really like Miller. I like the value there. I think he could be the future right tackle there. This is an interesting spot for New England now because I wanted some D-line depth. I think Joseph's or a Derek Moore as edge rushers would be good. Denai Dennis Sutton, if he was still on the board, I think would be considered. Grayson Halton, defensive tackle, as an interior penetrator. But I'm also looking at receiver. They brought in Romeo Doubs. Stephon Diggs is out. What do we want to do at receiver? I'm so scared of Brazel for various reasons. But you're right. We haven't confirmed it across the board here.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it not even mentioned in scouting reports, which is unusual. Like I don't remember. I'd have to check, but I'm pretty sure with James Pierce, every single scouting report was like talking about character problems.
Why don't you text the really nice guy that we talked to and get the info? Not to name names.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Why don't you get that info?
Sure.
But I'm going to go Tennessee here. I'm going to take Brazel.
Do it.
I was looking at the defensive line. I like the value there too, but I'm going to go with the size and speed and take a shot there for a playmaker for Drake May.
Again, I do think that you should be less scared of him than any standard receiver coming out of that offense. By the way, like the best receiver coming out of that offense, it might be Gabe Davis
At UCF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the level we're talking about here. And even if you extend it to like the Art Briles, tree, then I think your three options are Gabe Davis still, Kendall Wright, and the 5 minutes we got of Josh Gordon before he.
I mean, Josh Gordon's the best.
He's by far the best that it sent. But even Josh Gordon, like he has 1 year basically of like high end play.
He didn't play that much at Baylor, even, right?
Right. You wouldn't call him a product of that offense as much as just he got the hell out of there and was there for a while. Point being, it's a terrible track record.
Right. And so Greg Cosell was on the show last week and he said, look, they're not doing. I always called it lined up next to the cheerleaders. Like they line up 3 feet from the sideline. They're not doing that as much.
It's still pretty bad, though. Like you watch.
Brazel faced, remember last year we were counting the number of times Jalen Hyatt faced press?
Yeah. Like never.
And it was 17.
Right.
I think Brazel's closer to 200. Like he faced way more press reps, way more press reps than other Tennessee receivers. So it's not as bad. But the problem with
the alignment is still very bad, and the route tree is still extremely rudimentary.
And so the problems are multiple here. And for the 10th straight year, there are some younger draft analysts out there like, look at this low-effort play by the receiver. Just to repeat, I want to remind people here, if you see those, you got to smarten you up here. The offense specifically just tells receivers, because they run so many vertical routes, they tell them to take plays off.
Yes.
And they say, look, the read's going to the other side of the field. Don't run a route on this play. It's not low effort. We saw this with Corey Coleman. We've seen this for over a decade. The Briles system specifically tells them to do this. They have the really wide splits. They have the limited route tree, and there's no semblance of route adjustments, sight adjustments, or anything whatsoever. Right? And it's based off of go balls.
Yeah. So this is it's almost like taking a guy from a different sport that you've seen has the traits and be like, okay, now let's see if you can run an NFL route tree. Let's see if you can learn that in the NFL. It's abstractions. Like it's so far divorced from anything that those guys are going to have to do at the NFL level. It's terrifying to take a receiver from that scheme. Now, I think that may change in this world of transfers and NIL, where you can actually go back and look at a guy before he got there or after he was there and say, all right, what did he learn? What did he already know? And that's where I think if you go back to Brazel's Tulane tape, I think you can say, okay, he ran routes. Like he was running whip routes down by the tight red zone.
Like
6'5". Yeah, like deep overs, comeback, stop routes, slants. Like we ran a legit route tree at Tulane at 6'5", 6'4". And, I think you can say, like, he showed that he can do a lot of the stuff that he just wasn't asked to do at Tennessee. And then, you add that to the one route against Georgia. You're like, it's a complete route running profile, Steve.
If you add them
By
all
the
up.
way, he has one of the weirdest stance quirks I've ever seen any receiver. He, like the foot that's up is like 45-degree angle inwards, if not more. And so the first move he makes is that foot needs to straighten.
Right.
It's weird. It's even worse from the left side, which he didn't do that often at Tennessee, but you go back, you see it in Tulane as well when he's lined up left more. But on the left side, it's your right foot, and it's like torqued almost sideways. And then on the right side, it's the same thing, but it's not quite as far. I've never seen anybody line up like that. It's bizarre. I don't think it matters. Like, it doesn't seem to do any damage, but it's just a strange thing for him that I noticed.
All right, I put Seattle up on the clock at 64. There were a couple random mocks that had Jadarian Price going at 32 to Seattle with their running back need, and he's still on the board in our draft.
He is, as are all the running backs except Jeremiah Love.
My running back, too, Jonah Coleman.
Yep.
Available.
So you got Price, Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas, Jonah Coleman from Washington, Seth McGowan from Kentucky, Emmett Johnson, who was JJ's number 2, right? Am I remembering that right?
He had Price, I think, as a reluctant 2.
Yeah.
And then Coleman and Washington, I think,
Right.
the next couple.
So, yeah, whoever your favorite running back is that isn't Jeremiah Love is still available on the board. I don't love any of them in the second round, I've got to say.
Chat's begging for Jadarian Price here.
Okay. Receivers not in need. We're pretty well stocked there now. Also, we have all of the money in the world tied up in JSN.
Right.
We already added Peter Woods on the defensive line at defensive tackle. Cornerback, you could try and backfill a little bit after letting Reek Woolen walk. I mean, different type of player. If you're looking at Keontae Scott, a slot guy. All the corners gone. It was just him there.
Yeah. Chandler Rivers, the next outside corner. He could play on the inside as well.
Yeah. Edge rusher would be interesting, but not a need.
Kieron Crawford is 92 on this consensus board from Auburn. He's number 24. If you're watching Keldrick Falk,
Right.
24 flashes a bunch.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Crawford bumped up this far as the consensus board goes, but I get it. Like,
Yeah.
when you're watching Falk, this dude's standing out and feels like he could be a Seahawks-like pick to replace Mafe. It's low. It's lower on the board though compared to.
I might take
where they
Price. I don't love it. They do have a running back need still.
It's a realistic
Yeah,
pick here.
it makes sense. I don't love the other values as much, to be honest.
And so we talked about drop-offs and everything. So there's Price, but there's some fun players remaining. Bryce Lance still remaining. Josiah Trotter.
Yeah, it does
Grayson
feel.
Halton.
It's
Elijah
a weird.
Surratt.
It feels like each round has a little bit of a dead spot in the middle somewhere. Like the first round, it felt like somewhere in that 14, 15, 16 range. It felt a little bit weak for a bit, and then you feel the value again. Then the
agree.
second round, somewhere towards the bottom of the second round, it doesn't feel as good again for a spot. But then you get to the third, you're like, I like this again. So it's I don't know. So maybe the third has that as well. You get the spot in the third round, and you just feel I don't love the value at this area.
All right, man. So there it is. We got the images. We could tweet out there. 2-round mock. It's our first one. Played through the pain. Double back injuries over here. Some worse than others. But this was fun. It's fun getting into the second round. It's a whole different draft order, and you start to see like the Texans are in an interesting spot. The Bears with their 2 second-rounders. So the Texans have their 2 second-rounders. Bears have 2 second-rounders. You don't see Green Bay, Indianapolis, Atlanta, Denver until pretty late, especially Denver, right? They're doing nothing until very late in the second round, but they got Jalen Waddle. So you start to see the differences in how, the opportunities that teams have here. Texans have a really good opportunity with their 3 picks in the first 2 rounds here to just continue to stack depth on that pretty good roster already.
Yep.
So, anything else we want to talk about here today?
Uh,
Walt's pissed.
Walt's always pissed. I'd love to know what a good mock looks like in Walt's eyes. You know? I'd be curious what that actually...
Just his favorite players, whoever it is.
Yeah, but for everybody? Like, how do you... Not everybody can have a perfect mock, surely.
Get his board. Anything else happening on... we talked a lot about Vrabel, and there was a lot of Bend discussion last week. And
Yeah, last week was it's a golden era for still shots of guys turning a corner and defining their entire career by that.
We touched on it a little bit with JJ, but the single data point. Remember when All 22 came out and the football guys were like, "This is bad." When All 22 first came out, the football guys were saying, "This is bad. You're going to get coaches' film in the hands of people who don't know what to do with it."
Irresponsible.
I kind of feel like the same with data.
You need
right
to gatekeep bag drills.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking data now. Forget the pro day. First off, the fact that we have, let's combine both. There are pro day clips that are going viral, like from Drew Aller throws to David Bailey to Arvell Reese. Like we're really overanalyzing this stuff in 2026.
Of course.
And then the data thing, the cherry-picked data stats where it's like, here's every receiver that's had 4 specific stats with arbitrary cutoffs.
I can't even tell if that's real. Like, is that not a troll? It's so bad it can't possibly be a serious thing.
But listen, I think there's a world where that stuff can be used and is useful.
Of course there is.
Right? Like data can be useful to say, hey, Mekhi Lemon is in this bucket of receivers. Feel good about it.
Yeah.
Or, he's in this bad bucket or whatever. But when you get into too many arbitrary cutoffs and everything, and the guy that put it out was like, he had one where Mekhi Lemon looks like a superstar and one where he looks bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that.
And it doesn't make sense. And some of the stuff were like the ones that made him look bad used positive stats just to get the right filters.
Right. Just to make a number of 4 people.
Like that's inherently, we call that overfit. It's not even a model, but it's overfitting, right? It's like back testing and saying we knew Puka hit as a 5th round pick. Let's find all the things that make Puka look good, and find the guy that's closest to him and say, here's your next Puka.
Correct.
It's really bad.
Yeah,
it's just bad use. So I'm just warning, just smartening up our audience here. Again,
this is why
don't fall for this nonsense.
People wonder, well, how is there still going to be an edge in analytics if everybody's doing it? It's because of stuff like this. Like everyone has the data, but you need people who know what they're doing in order to construct the data in a way that's useful. You can't just roll all the numbers together and be like, well, this says that this guy. Like you actually need to understand how this works and why things should influence or other things and set the weighting and like all this stuff. And there's so many. Like everyone has access to information now, but there's plenty of people who have no idea what they're doing with it and throw out numbers. What the hell?
So, yeah, I just think just be careful. Just be careful out there. It's Wild West.
It's Wild West. Also, we appear to be inevitably moving towards another referee strike and replacement refs. So that'll be fun.
I just hope we're so far away from the deadline that it's not a big deal and they'll figure it out.
They're busy fighting it in the news today. Both sides. Tom Pelissero has been tweeting out both sides of the propaganda. Where's the first one? So the NFL has a whole series of Pelissero tweets. The NFL plans them to begin hiring replacement officials before the May 31st expiration of the labor deal and deploy them in training camps to have them ready if no agreement is struck with the NFLRA.
It's just a threat. It's just a threat. And
right.
They're just threatening them.
One source said today, our direction from owners is not to be unprepared. So this is all good. They've been digging out officials from all over the place, like Division III, everywhere. Real hotbeds of officiating. Then this is the NFL side of the argument. The NFL has offered its game officials a 6-year labor deal with a 6.45% annual growth rate in compensation, while the NFLRA is insisting on 10% plus $2.5 million for marketing fees the league regards as worthless.
What are the marketing? They want referee marketing?
I would assume.
Like, hey, good job. Hockey League, good
My
game.
assumption would be that's advertising to recruit officials, but there's no word on that because this is the NFL side of it, and they deem it
because
worthless.
my first instinct was like they get so much bad press.
Well, because that's what they
wanted.
wanted.
They wanted some sort of like human interest
fees.
piece on the refs or something to make them.
That the league regards as worthless, right? We're reading the NFL side of it for the moment. The union also continues to resist changes the NFL is insisting upon, including shortening the dark period after the Super Bowl, deploying underperforming officials to spring leagues for extra reps, and ending a seniority-based system for playoff assignments. Quote, we want to pay for performance, source said. So all that sounds very reasonable from the NFL's point of view because that's the NFL guy that's saying that. Statement from the NFL Referees Association Executive Director Scott Green, which was his follow-up tweet. Apparently, league sources are continuing to put out false and misleading information instead of wanting to meet at the negotiation table. The bottom line is our officials work for the wealthiest sports league in America with profits that far exceed any of the others. That's normally a point of pride for the NFL. However, our officials are substantially undercompensated when compared to baseball and basketball umpires and referees. Our officials also aren't provided the healthcare benefits that those at 345 Park Avenue have. As for performance pay, we had high-performing officials who worked this year's championship games and the Super Bowl who were paid less for those games than what they were paid for a regular season game. That certainly isn't rewarding performance, as the NFL claims is their goal. Wow. So anyway, we've got an impasse. The NFL refs and the NFL are head-to-head, and unfortunately, if this goes the way the last impasse went, we're going to get jackass awful replacement refs who blow games, and the whole thing will be a joke.
Every time somebody mentions us, they just show the double, the touchdown, incomplete.
Fail Mary.
The Fail Mary picture from Monday Night Football, Week 3 of 2012. Mm-hmm. It's like it came to a head so badly.
This is the thing, right? Like the last time this happened, this was such an unmitigated disaster.
I got to tell you.
It's one of the few things that's ever made the NFL blink, right? Like the NFL never loses negotiations. They win. They stay the course. Nothing ever upsets the bottom line. So they just keep on going until eventually it'll blow over. They'll win. Someone else will blink. The replacement players will come back. It doesn't matter. This is the only thing that's ever made them blink. They're like, this was so bad. We can't keep going.
By Tuesday,
with this.
They're like, all right, get back here. Get back to work.
We gave it a shot. The replacement refs are apparently worse than just having your children do it. So tap out. We'll bring them back. Give them what they want.
I got to tell you my replacement umpire story. I have to add it to here. Because as bad as the NFL replacement refs were, the replacement minor league refs of 2006.
Replacement minor league refs.
Minor league umpires.
The
minor league umpires of 2006.
The point where you're replacing minor league umpires. Are you
who
just
are
asking
already
people
bad.
in the stand, have you ever reffed a game?
So they brought high school umpires in.
Yeah.
Which I thought was going to be great for pitchers because high school umpires have bigger strike zones. I thought it was going to be great. I still got lit up. It was terrible. But within a week, the two things that I saw, even you who doesn't know baseball could have figured these out. I saw a ground rule double get called a home run. So a ground rule double is when the ball lands in the field and bounces over the wall. Okay?
Yeah.
You don't need to be a certified umpire to know if the ball landed inside the field or not. And it got called a home run. Thankfully not against me. Like some poor sap in A-ball has a home run allowed on his record. That was a double. And I saw a home run, a ball that hit well above the wall on the batter's eye. It's called the batter's eye, like the big black, padding behind the wall. Hit up there and then landed in the field. I saw a home run called a ground rule double within a week. Luckily, these guys weren't here very long. So that was bad. So if you think the NFL replacement officials were bad, the 2006 minor league replacement umpires were worse. They were very bad. And then this weekend, by the way, at the Reds game, they get the new ABS challenges for baseball. So you could challenge an umpire. You would actually love this. This might actually get you watching baseball.
No.
So you can challenge a call.
Yeah.
And they'll just put it up on the scoreboard whether or not the pitch was a ball or a strike. Mm-hmm. So I was at the Reds game this week. This one was going viral. CB Buckner, who's not a great umpire. Back-to-back pitches. Strike 3, punches out a Reds hitter. He challenges the first one. Ball. Crowd goes nuts. Next pitch. He punches him out again. Strike 3. Challenge. And it's a ball again. So 2 straight times he tried to call strike 3 on the Reds hitter, and he got overturned. And so the umpires are getting pissed because they're just getting shown up in real time. And you have unlimited challenges if you get them right. So this guy, like the umpire was like 2 for 8 or something in challenges. Each team gets 2 lost challenges. Like if you lose, you're out after 2. But if you keep getting them right, you can just keep going.
I acknowledge that I don't really care what the answer to this question is, but as long as if it's automated to the point where we trust it, like once you challenge, it's just like automated yes, no, right? Why not just automate every pitch?
They probably will at some point.
They're
testing all this. They will at some point.
I don't understand.
The part I don't love is I think it's changed the strike zone a little bit, but as long as it's uniform.
Yeah.
but it's like it's based off the hitter's height. I think it's only two-dimensional. They claim there's a third dimension. I'm not really sure where it is because I think you should be able to throw the ball like around the zone and sneak it in the side. And then you had one that was overturned that was like 0.01 inches that like it's in the zone.
But also like what is, like in order
it just has to touch the
right,
strike
but
zone.
where do you? There has to be a third dimension to it, even if it's only to set to line up the two-dimensional plane. Like where in that? I'm standing there on, like next to the plate.
But that's
right?
because the plate has depth, and
That's
I don't
what I'm
know if
saying.
it's got to hit
So
the
like
middle.
where along that horizontal plane in front of me is this two-dimensional plane of a box?
That's why I think it's 3D, because I think it's supposed to be the whole depth of the plate.
right.
But I think it might be just the
But
middle.
it never shows that way in anything I've ever seen. I've never seen anything project a three-dimensional box that way.
I know. So I don't know. That's why I don't love it. And I think just pitches that were never strikes are becoming strikes, and vice versa.
See, I don't mind that part, but even if it was two-dimensional, I wouldn't necessarily hate that as long as you could tell me accurately where the box is.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's uniform. And so that's why I think over time, eventually the umpires will simply get buzzed if it's a strike, and they'll call it, and they'll just be there to make plays.
Because this is the problem, I think, across sports with video technology is it makes sense in certain areas where it is a black or white thing, right? Tennis. Did the ball touch the line, yes or no, right? There's no fudging to that. It's just like, okay, we're now able to exactify this thing and measure it down to the millimeter. Fine. That's maybe not the way we were designing this, but it's okay. It doesn't change anything. But then you reach things like the offside rule in soccer. It's like that was a rule that was just fundamentally never designed for millimeters, right? Is this guy ahead of the last defender or not? Well, what exactly is ahead of him? Is it like center mass? Is it a toenail is further ahead? Like, so all of him can be behind, but if his toenail's out in front of you, that's offside. That to me seems ridiculous. And I don't think that was ever what the rule was intended for, but that's how we have to measure these things because we're now capable of measuring down to the millimeter. Baseball, I feel like the strike zone is similar. It's like, it's basically just supposed to be this little area, but now you have to start quantifying, well, where is that box on a plane? Is it a 3D box? It's never designed for that.
There's an answer out there. I just haven't looked into it enough. If it's 3D, 2D for baseball or whatever. But
even forget whether it's 3D or 2D, but even if it's 2D, we should all know what the answer is to where that 2D box lines up.
Yeah.
Is it to my left knee? Is it to my center mass? Is it to my right knee? Is it exactly in the middle of the plate? Like, where is that box? Because that obviously, that changes everything. So if the ball's coming in and sinking, I need to know where the box is.
You'll love this too, because we always talk about heights and weights and measurements a lot. A lot of major league hits. So to make this work, every hitter has a different strike zone based off their height. So everyone's height has changed this year, because they've had to be remeasured to make sure that it's perfect. So you have guys who are listed at 6'4", now being listed at like 6'1.5" or whatever it is. Everything's changed to make sure that you've got the real right strike zone.
Lucrative, again, is quite wrong in the chat, but he says, is a catch should also be black and white. It's only human error that makes it blend. You see, the problem with that is whether something is caught or not, because of the rules of what constitutes a catch, is an entirely subjective thing, and it can't possibly be quantified in the same way as
anything
did the ball
involving
touch
lines.
the white line.
Right. The part of a catch, like did your feet get in, is black and white.
Like you can tell.
But then the timing of control and
bobbles. Even just the definition of control.
Yes.
The definition of control, the length of time you had control for, whether at the, it's not, the whole point is the entire thing is subjective. And so there's no amount of slowing it down to 1,000,000 degrees of slow-mo can actually tell whether or not that was a catch or not, because the whole thing is subjective. And actually, it's one of those things where I think slowing it down makes it more confusing than running it at full speed.
Oh, gosh.
So I think that's the problem is it's less actually there are two problems. Number one, replay and super slow-mo does not actually help you with the subjective calls, right? So no amount of slowing down, is this a catch, actually makes it easier to determine whether that was a catch. In fact, if anything, it's confusing matters and just muddying the waters now. So it didn't fix that problem, and it's invented a whole new area of problems of things you never thought were actually not as black and white as you thought they were. And the second you're able to measure them to the millimeter, it's like, actually, the rule was never really designed for that. So offside doesn't work anymore because we're now able to measure it at a more accurate degree than the rule was ever conceptualized in. And I think that's true for some other sports and some other rules as well. So it didn't fix the thing that it was supposed to fix, and it's invented a whole new area of problems that we never even thought about until technology got this good. And then, okay, to be fair, it's also corrected some black and white mistakes. But I think the net is a negative at the moment.
Good times, man. Just had to get some baseball discussion in there, some referee discussion in there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a 1 minute countdown. We can get that going now. We're going to continue our bonus profiles, draft profiles, 3 of them coming up here for our subscribers, our members, not subscribers. We'll go to the wall in a few seconds here, and we'll be back on Wednesday, 9 a.m. We have a special guest on Wednesday, hopefully Mike Renner. Got to confirm with him.
Mike Renner.
We've got some O-line rankings coming up on Thursday with Brandon Thorne. All sorts of good stuff. Make sure you hit subscribe. And for members, first look at our draft profiles coming up here in just a couple seconds. 6, 5, 4.
Almost nailed it.